Chapter 661. Howl. The night in the catacombs was as dark as ever. The wandering monsters began to howl at night. Fong Ping and the rest stopped teasing each other. They were all wearing catacombs armor and restrained their auras, keeping a low profile like stones. A distance of 1,200 miles wasn't too far for the few of them. 1 hour, 2 hours, they passed through the mountains and bypassed the big lake. Along the way, they also encountered some demon-gathering spots. Fong Ping and the rest did not attack. They avoided those that they could. At their level, middle and low-rank monsters were almost useless and of no threat to them. When he was weak, Fong Ping used to wonder why Grandmaster-level powerhouses did not kill the weak. Now that he had reached this level, Fong Ping had some understanding. At this level, unless it was absolutely necessary, everyone would only target powerhouses of the same level. If it was not necessary, who would kill the weak and cause more trouble for themselves? Moreover, if they killed the weak, they would also kill the weak. That would be utter chaos. After walking for more than 600 li, Yao Qingjun suddenly said in a low voice, "In front of us is a rank 7 monsters territory. Should we take a detour or kill it directly?" Fong Ping looked around. If they took a detour, the journey would be much longer. After a moment, he said in a low voice, "Kill it. Hurry. The 4 of us will work together and do our best to kill it in one move." Okay. They raised their vitality to the limit in an instant. Celestiality began to interweave around their bodies. Yao Qingyuan's long spear appeared. Wang Jinyang's blood-red longbow appeared instantly too. Li Hansong looked at the two's weapons, then at his own boxing gloves. He shook his head slightly and said regretfully, "I actually don't have an offensive divine weapon." Fong Ping humphed. "Be content." Among the 4 of them, he had the worst equipment. The other 3 had their own inherited divine weapons, and they were extremely powerful. Only Fong Ping had 3 divine weapons until now. A pair of rank 7 boots, a rank 7 Changdao, and a rank 8 Changdao. The 3 divine weapons added together were far inferior to their inherited divine weapons. They did not say anything more. They restrained their auras and quietly crept toward a mountain ridge more than 10 li ahead. More than a minute later, in the huge valley, a huge python with spotted patterns appeared in front of them. As soon as they arrived, the spotted python raised its head high, looking in the direction of Fong Ping and the others, even though they did not sense any energy fluctuations. "Kill!" Fong Ping let out a low growl with his mentality. On the rank 7 Changdao, the golden glow was extremely intense. Yao Qingyuan's soul-splitting spear had already shot out and disappeared halfway. It turned into pure psyche energy and targeted the python's psyche energy. Wang Jinyang drew his bow and condensed a blood-red arrow, which shot through the air. Hiss hiss, the huge python flicked its tongue and soared into the air, trying to escape. It could already feel the threat of death looming over it. But it was too late. Kacha, like glass shattering, Yao Qingyuan's long spear immediately condensed from the void, and with a kacha sound, it directly tore apart the python's mental strength. Before Wang Jinyang's blood-red arrow arrived, the python's body trembled violently. All of its blood spurted out and gathered in the arrow, strengthening it. Bang! The long arrow pierced through the python's head swiftly. At this moment, the python was not dead yet. It let out a sharp hiss. As soon as the sound was heard, Fong Ping's saber slashed down. With an explosion of destructive force, the huge python's head crashed onto the ground with a bang, its torso and head still squirming. Around the valley, a few silhouettes appeared. Li Hansong looked gloomy. He said sheepishly, "Give me a chance." The 3 of them joined forces and still managed to get within 100 meters of the other party. Against a monster that was around middle stage rank 7, if the 3 of them unleashed their full strength, they could kill it in one move. Yao Qingjun directly tore apart the other party's mentality. Wang Jinyang's blood-red arrow devoured the other party's vitality, and Yao Qingjun dealt a fatal blow. He did not even have the chance to intervene. "Cut the crap. Go collect the corpse." "It's dangerous to collect the corpse." Remember, next time you collect the corpse, put on your armor, Fong Ping said calmly. If the four of them joined forces and could not even kill a middle-stage rank 7 monster quickly, they would be too useless. How were they going to explore the catacombs then? Tai Tu went to move the corpse. Fong Ping looked at Old Wang. After a while, he asked, "You can devour its vitality?" Wang Jinyang said softly, "Not devour, it's absorb. Not only vitality, but also energy. The premise is that the other party is suppressed and unable to suppress its own energy. Old Yao's spear tore apart its mentality earlier. It can't control its own vitality and energy. That's why I can absorb its vitality and energy to strengthen the blood-red arrow." Fong Ping nodded slightly. After a while, he asked, "Do you have arrows on your longbow?" "No." Wang Jinyang's blood-red longbow only had a bow, no arrows. Right now, the blood-red arrow was condensed from his own energy. Fong Ping heard that and did not ask further. At this time, Li Hansong had already walked back, carrying the snake's head and the snake's body. He chuckled. "A rank 7 divine weapon is in my hands. It feels like a divine weapon isn't that difficult." Everyone ignored him. It was not difficult. That was built on the foundation of Fong Ping's presence. Without Fong Ping, the three of them had the ability to kill this monster. However, the three of them were thousands of meters away. This monster could sense their presence. Sensing that it was no match for them, it had long run away. Why would it still stay here and wait for them to arrive before fighting? Fong Ping kept the python into his space. Seeing that there was finally something in the space, he felt a little relieved. The space had been empty for a long time. It would be uncomfortable if it did not store something. "Let's go. Speed up and reach the bounded domain before daybreak." They did not waste any time. In the blink of an eye, they killed the rank 7 python. They did not use flight step. Instead, they levitated and hurried toward the bounded domain. At the same time, in the neighboring forbidden catacombs, at the peak of Mount Royal Sea, Zhang Tao also rushed over. Looking at the densely packed figures in front of the passageway below, his voice was not loud, but it was incomparably dignified. "King Huai, it's just a small area. Is there a need for so many people? There are too many idlers in the royal court. Do you think it's inappropriate for them to come and watch the show?" The long-haired King Huai was no longer as irritable as he was in the Magic City catacombs. His young and handsome face carried a gentle smile. Stepping on the void, he slowly walked toward the peak of Mount Royal Sea, as if he was walking on a flight of stairs. When he reached the peak, a black crack flashed and disappeared, cutting through his long hair. His long hair burst into a brilliant golden glow. Some of it broke, disappearing along with the crack. King Huai did not care. He walked to the peak, less than 100 meters away from Zhang Tao. Overlooking the surroundings, he murmured softly, "What a great building! Even a true king could not easily surpass it. It is admirable and intoxicating. How did the 2 kings do it back then?" Zhang Tao said lightly, "This is not the work of the catacombs martial artists." King Huai chuckled. "Are you talking about the martial artists of the bounded domain? Is it not? Perhaps." Having said that, King Huai laughed again. However, the past has become dust. Now, immersing in the glory of the past, it seems that the martial king is still not confident enough. That is not up to you to decide. King Huai was not angry. He chuckled again. "Martial king, the barrier between the 2 worlds is about to be completely opened. You know what I mean? Now, even if you destroy the outer realm, what can you do? Martial king, the land of rebirth, I do not care about the other true kings. You and the Netherworld king, the Hall of True Kings will always welcome you." Zhang Tao said playfully, "I can go, but the premise is that the Hall of True Kings kills you first." "How about it?" King Huai laughed. "Why bother? At our realm, everyone below the true king is an ant. Living for 1,000 years, or even 10,000 years, that is not impossible. Time can no longer erase our imprints. Since that is the case, why must you be so overbearing?" Zhang Tao said coldly, "On Earth, there are many impasses. King Huai, once the war starts, more than 1 or 2 impasse will fall. We human martial artists do not retreat until we are dead. In your hall of true kings, there may not be anyone left alive. King Huai chuckled. I know. If possible, we also want to quietly cultivate until the moment when our lives are extinguished. But some things must be done. Immortality is also a great temptation, isn't it? Immortality? Zhang Tao sneered. Even if life is eternal and the world is extinguished, what can you do if you're left alone? As strong as the ancient martial era, it was extinguished just like that. Yes, so we do not want to repeat the same mistakes. King Huai said faintly. Perhaps only the seed of rebirth can prevent history from repeating itself. What is the seed of rebirth? Zhang Tao asked again. King Huai smiled faintly. Let us enter the land of rebirth, and we will tell you. Wishful thinking, then there is no way to negotiate. King Huai sighed and said softly, You are too stubborn. Even if we enter the land of rebirth, what can we do? Even if we have the intention to kill you, if you really want to leave, who can do anything to you? Martial King, I have known you for decades, and I really can't bear to see you fall. Then try. Zhang Tao's face was indifferent, and he said no more. King Huai said no more, but looked at the crowd below, chuckling. Go in, boys, go and kill, go and indulge. Only when you are stained with the blood of the reborn martial artists will you truly walk your own path. Go, kill. The crowd below, one after another, shouted. Among the crowd, Ji Yao rode a golden phoenix, her expression cold as she said loudly, Martial King, where is Fong Ping? Zhang Tao said calmly. Has the monster life royal court made up its mind to start a war with us humans? Ji Yao only represents herself. Ji Yao did not answer directly, saying loudly, Martial King, since you want to destroy the 18 southern regions, the royal court and its affiliated cities here cannot be ignored. If I promise not to invade the monster life royal court cities, then what? Ji Yao did not answer. Zhang Tao laughed loudly and said, If that is the case, I will not force you. After saying that, Zhang Tao turned, looked into the distance, and laughed loudly. The feast has begun. Kill! Kill! In the distance, tens of thousands of martial artists shouted loudly. Waves of rank 9 force rose, the vitality pillar piercing the sky and the earth, making the vitality pillar even more obvious in the dark night. Even if it was thousands of miles away, the giant pillar in the distance could still be seen. Zhang Tao laughed loudly, his figure flashed, disappearing in the blink of an eye. In the next moment, he appeared directly above the Grand Canyon, standing in the air. Black cracks cut across his body, but only a golden mark was left. One man can hold the pass against 10,000. He wanted to personally guard the canyon passage. Even the catacombs' true king could not think of going through. Waves of force also rose from the neighboring territories, one after another. Huge figures appeared from Imperial Sea Mountain. Outside Imperial Sea Mountain, waves of force also rose. A powerhouse laughed loudly, his voice traveling thousands of miles. Below, Ji Yao and the others looked solemn, but when they saw their true king also showing his majesty, everyone's expression softened. Soon, the passage opened. On the opposite side of the passage, an old Taoist looked at everyone, watching them enter. Just as a rank 8 powerhouse stepped into the passage, the old Taoist struck with his palm. Boom! A loud explosion rang out. This rank 8 powerhouse did not have time to react, nor did he have the heart to defend himself, and his golden body exploded instantly. As he struck with his palm, the old Taoist flew backward, flying thousands of meters in the blink of an eye, fleeing toward Wuhan City in the south. Damn it! Kill him! The powerhouses who had just entered the restricted area were furious. Several rank 9 powerhouses rose into the air, quickly chasing after the old Taoist. They did not expect that the resurrected powerhouse guarding the passage would actually attack them. At that moment, many people did not have the heart to defend themselves at all. At the peak of Imperial Sea Mountain, King Huai said indifferently, King Wu, you're still as shameless as ever. Above the passage, Zhang Tao sneered. Just a bunch of idiots. Since we've entered the Outland, the war has already begun. I wonder how many of these idiots can return this time. King Huai was not angry. Facing the Outland, his voice traveled thousands of miles, saying, "Kill the escaped resurrected martial artists. The massacre has begun." As soon as he finished speaking, in the forbidden catacombs, silhouettes from various cities soared into the air. The old Taoist who escaped from Imperial Sea Mountain soon encountered a rank 9 powerhouse, and a great battle broke out instantly. Further away, the sky-piercing blood pillar began to move toward the depths. King Huai stood proudly at the peak, looking at the Outland, chuckling. Even if a territory is destroyed, I'll be satisfied if I can slaughter dozens of high ranks. 108 Outlands are just abandoned lands. How many high ranks can die in the land of rebirth? Was it worth it to exchange dozens of high ranks for the destruction of one territory? The true king in the True King Temple said it was worth it. The land of rebirth had just been revived, and the powerhouses were limited. Exchanging the Outland for the destruction of all the high ranks of the land of rebirth powerhouses was worth it. The restricted area was still there, and the core was still there. Coincidentally, he could also take back some of the mineral veins in the Outland. Zhang Tao did not pay any attention to him and remained silent. Xishan Catacombs. Fong Ping and the rest were extremely fast, passing by in a flash. At this moment, Fong Ping's figure paused, looking in the direction of Imperial Sea Mountain, muttering, "The war has begun?" Wang Jinyang and the rest's expressions were extremely solemn. In the direction of Imperial Sea Mountain, several towering pressures rose, covering hundreds of miles. Even though they were thousands of miles away, they could still vaguely feel some pressure. In Xishan Catacombs' Imperial Sea Mountain, powerhouses began to demonstrate. Guardian Chun, it should be him. The opposite side is King Maple? More or less. They looked at each other. Fong Ping took a deep breath and growled, "Let's go now." The rank 9 powerhouses in Xishan Catacombs dared not release their mentality pressure to provoke him. While everyone was focused on the impasse, it was the most convenient time to go to the Outland. Very soon, an endless mountain range appeared in front of everyone. They had arrived at Endless Mountain. In the depths of the catacombs, the heaven-shaking pressure was getting stronger and stronger. It was so strong that everyone suspected whether a battle of the pinnacle would erupt in the next moment. Fong Ping's expression changed slightly. After a long time, he looked toward the south and said softly, "Thank you, Guardian Chun." After saying that, Fong Ping sped up and began to cross Endless Mountain. Wang Jinyang and the rest understood instantly. Old Ancestor Chun, who was guarding Xishan Catacombs, might have also known that they were going to enter the Outland. Taking advantage of the moment to unleash his pressure to shock the catacombs, he might also be trying to divert attention. Although they did not know or see this pinnacle powerhouse who started the neo-martial arts era, at this moment they still respected him a little more. Endless Mountain spanned 400 miles. There were not as many demons here as in other forbidden lands. Monster plants were the majority. Although there were not many demons, the demons in Endless Mountain were stronger. Monster plant-type demons could form a forbidden land. Middle and low-rank monster plants had no intelligence, and it was difficult for them to move. The proportion of high ranks was even higher. While Fong Ping and the rest maintained high speed, they were also extremely careful. Here, once they were discovered by monster plants, it was very likely to attract the attention of some kings of forbidden lands. Once they were surrounded by the kings of forbidden lands, Fong Ping and the rest of the rank 7s could not possibly be a match at all. With caution and vigilance, they passed through the mountains. The absolute pressure in the depths never stopped. The vast, endless mountain was also much quieter at this moment. Even so, when they crossed more than 200 miles of Endless Mountain, Fong Ping and the rest were still targeted by monster plants. This time, Fong Ping did not have the intention to kill the other party. If they wasted time here, it would be too easy for them to be surrounded by demons. Ignoring the rank 7 monster plants' pursuit, they were extremely fast, crossing the mountains continuously. The number of high-ranked monster plants chasing after them was also increasing. One plant, two plants. When they were almost out of Endless Mountain, there were already 7 or 8 monster plants chasing behind them. In the central area of Endless Mountain, there were even rank 9 monster plants that began to cross the air and come over. Fong Ping and the rest could already see the Forbidden Sea tributary in front of them. Fong Ping took a deep breath and said quickly, "Be careful, especially Old Yao. It's your first time here. Remember what I told you before? You must be very careful. Don't fly too high." Beside him, Wang Jinyang glanced at the monster plant that was chasing after them and said, "Should we take off?" Fong Ping glanced at him. At this time, Old Wang was still thinking about what happened last time. "No need. Everyone keep a distance from each other. I'll be in the middle. If there's any danger, I'll activate Old Zhang's mentality clone in time. Let's go." As soon as he finished speaking, Li Hansong was the first to start crossing the river. The divine armor appeared on his body. His expression could not be seen, but his nervousness could be seen. The ignorant were fearless. The last time he crossed the river with Qin Fengqing, he did not have any other thoughts and went straight over. Only later did he know how dangerous the Forbidden Sea tributary was. However, as the only martial artist in the team with divine armor, his defense was much stronger than Fong Ping's. He was the only one who could explore the way. Behind him, the monster plants were almost catching up. At this moment, it was not the time for everyone to explore slowly. Li Hansong was the first, and Fong Ping followed closely behind. Behind him, Wang Jinyang and Yao Qingjun were also extremely vigilant. When the two of them had used flight step to the surface of the river, they quickly followed. The Forbidden Sea was as calm as ever. Very soon, Li Hansong crossed the river at a distance of 1 to 2,000 meters. Fong Ping was just about to reach the shore when a tentacle suddenly swept over from under the water. Fong Ping's expression changed. A rock appeared in his hand out of thin air, and he shot it far away. Unexpectedly, the tentacle ignored the rock and continued sweeping toward Fong Ping. Fong Ping gritted his teeth. A small ball of golden substance appeared in his hand, and in the blink of an eye, he threw it toward the surface of the water 100 meters away. This time, the tentacle ignored Fong Ping. Instead, it fell into the water and disappeared without a trace. Old Yao and Wang Jinyang hurried over from behind. As soon as Wang Jinyang landed, he looked at the slightly tumbling seawater 100 meters away and said in a low voice, "Why did it target you?" Fong Ping shook his head and then said, "Maybe it was a little too much. Forget it, let's go." This side was slightly different from Tiannan. The opposite side of the river was not a forest, but a stretch of towering mountains. Fong Ping took a look and said as he walked, "It has something to do with the terrain on the opposite side. The Forbidden Sea tributary is eroding over, surrounding the bounded zone." The few of them nodded slightly. Li Hansong sensed for a while and looked at Yao Qingjun and Wang Jinyang. "Any reaction? Does it feel familiar?" "No." Li Hansong was slightly regretful. He frowned and said, "Then it's not our home. Actually, I guessed it too. Otherwise, that token would have reacted. This time, we might not be able to enter." The last time he went to Tiannan, he still felt a little familiar, which was why he entered. This time, however, he did not feel the same. Obviously, he was not familiar with this bounded zone. However, the boundary wall inside did not seem to be activated now, and the buildings inside could not be seen. Maybe when it was activated, he would feel something. The few of them were discussing using mentality and did not dare to make a sound. There were primordial demon clan members here. Fong Ping, on the other hand, did not care about them. He looked around. After a while, he said, "This shouldn't be the core zone. There should be a stone tablet in the core zone. Only a stone tablet corresponds to the location of the bounded zone's gate. We haven't found the stone tablet yet, so we might not be able to activate it. Don't go inside first. Look for the stone tablet along the way." Upon hearing that, Wang Jinyang said with a vigilant look, "Don't mess around." Fong Ping said gloomily, "Nonsense. I know the stone tablet is connected to the seal. No matter how much money I want, I won't be courting death, right?" Wang Jinyang did not care about him. I'll give you a reminder first. The last time this fellow dug up the stone tablet, he almost got them killed. The few of them did not enter the depths. Instead, they walked along the outer mountain range, moving forward all the way. The bounded zone was very narrow and long, and not every place in the bounded zone was filled with gates. The stone tablet was a sign. The place with the stone tablet was most likely the area where the gate was located. Over there, it should be easier to activate the bounded zone. Moreover, after finding the stone tablet, if it was well preserved, then they could confirm whether this was the Schwanda Grotto. If it was not, the few of them might not gain anything by coming here. Walking carefully along the way, the few of them also discovered some native demons. These demons did not move much. Here, unless the boundary wall was activated and the energy was overflowing, only then could they cultivate. At other times, these demons were usually lying in wait. If they did not reveal their vitality, Fong Ping and the rest were like stones. They were not very tempting to the demons. Walking along the edge of the Forbidden Sea tributary, they walked for more than 100 li. Fong Ping's gaze flickered, and he said, "I think I see it." Wang Jinyang and the rest looked over. Sure enough, there was a huge black stone tablet standing in front. Chapter 662. In front of the gigantic stone monument. Fong Ping stared at the monument, his gaze solemn. He enunciated each word slowly. "Schwanda Grotto Heaven." "You can read?" Li Hansong asked suddenly. Fong Ping's expression darkened, glaring at him fiercely. "What's up with you? Qin Fengqing isn't here, so you replaced him?" Li Hansong was embarrassed, but he said helplessly, "It's only 3 words." "Why did you read 4 words?" There were only 3 words on the gigantic monument. Fong Ping said calmly, "Schwanda Grotto Heaven." I added heaven to make it sound better. Beside him, Wang Jinyang glanced at him and said helplessly, "It's Schwanda Realm, not Schwanda Grotto Heaven. Can you read more next time?" Fong Ping's expression darkened even more. After a while, he said sullenly, "I didn't look closely. Wasn't it Mausoleum Cave last time? I only saw the first 2 and didn't look at the rest." Wang Jinyang ignored him. After he deduced that the bounded boundaries and sects might be related, he had studied seal script. Glancing at the monument, Wang Jinyang said, "It is indeed the Schwanda Grotto Heaven. The so-called Grotto Heaven is just a term used by the Tang dynasty. It might not have existed before. It was just a name given by the later generations. Schwanda Realm should be the Schwanda Grotto Heaven listed by the Tang dynasty." As he spoke, Wang Jinyang did not look at the monument anymore. Instead, he looked behind the monument, at the winding ancient path that seemed to reach the heavens. Behind the monument was a huge mountain. The mountain path was rugged, and the ground was paved with sparkling energy crystals. The crystal-like plank path went up for thousands of meters. To martial artists, a height of thousands of meters was nothing. However, the ancient path was circling, faintly discernible. He had no idea where the end was. "We came to the right place," Wang Jinyang said, frowning slightly. "There should be restrictions above here. Last time in Tianan, there were spatial rifts above. But now, this plank path goes straight to the heavens." Fong Ping lifted his head to take a look as well. After some thought, he said, "Since this is the mountain path leading to the Grotto Heaven, there shouldn't be any restrictions on the mountain path. Otherwise, this mountain path would have disappeared long ago, swallowed by the space rift." Li Hansong continued, "The gates in Tianan are very low. This one is so high. Fong Ping, is this your home? You want to make a cultivation ground into a crystal pagoda?" Fong Ping said sternly, "From now on, shut your mouth. Tai Tu, I find that you've changed. You've learned to talk nonsense." This guy actually stabbed him twice in such a short period of time. He was rebelling. The other 2 ignored the 2 of them. Yao Qingjun looked around. After a while, he said sternly, "Everyone, be quiet. Someone has been here." As he spoke, Yao Qingjun walked behind the stone tablet, squatted down, and examined the crystal-like plank path. This place had been sealed for countless years. The crystal walkway was somewhat dim, and a layer of fine dust had fallen upon it. Yao Qingjun reached out and touched it, then looked up and said slowly, There might be people up there. Someone went up here, and there are footprints. As he spoke, he looked at both sides of the plankway and took a deep breath. This ancient path is a little dangerous. Be careful. I looked up and down, but the footprints didn't match. Perhaps someone had died. If it's not the ancient path that's dangerous, then there's danger up there. Although martial artists could use the flight step, this place was extremely dangerous. There were cracks flashing in the air at every turn. It was safer to walk with one's feet firmly on the ground here. Although some footprints on the plankway were very shallow, Yao Qingjun could still see them clearly. Fong Ping said, "Old Zhang said that someone from the Qin family might be here. Is it someone from the Qin family? I'm not sure. We can't let our guard down. We can't rule out the possibility that it's a martial artist from the catacombs." Fong Ping nodded. He would not let his guard down. He looked up again and said softly, "I didn't expect the door here to open in the sky. That's more dangerous than I expected. I don't know if there's someone above the sealed world. I was thinking that we could keep attacking the sealed world underground, but now it's hard to say. Since there's someone up there, no matter if it's someone from the Qin family or someone else, everyone must stay alert." Having said that, Fong Ping added, "Everyone, we came here together, so the only one we can trust is ourselves. Old Ancestor Qin probably released his aura on Mount Royal Sea to cover our tracks, but the Qin family might not know of our existence. If it's someone from the Qin family up there, be careful of them attacking us. If it's a catacombs martial artist, there might be a rank 9 existence." Fong Ping said with a serious expression, "If there's a rank 9 existence, then we'll be in trouble. There seems to be only one path here. If we don't go this way, we might not be able to find another entrance." Understood. The few of them were extremely solemn. It was different from the last time when they just wandered around. The last time they went to the bounded zone was to look for Zhang Qingnan. Fong Ping and the others had no other purpose. However, this time they were here specifically to look for cultivation methods. They did not want to return empty-handed. "Let's go," Fong Ping said and looked at the stone tablet again. He glanced at it and did not look at it anymore. There was still business at this time. This stone tablet should also be connected to the sealed world. Dealing with the stone tablet at this time might cause big trouble. The few of them stepped on the plankway cautiously. Li Hansong was still in front. He did not dare to be careless. Li Hansong cautiously walked up the steps one by one. He tested it by stepping on the ground and even tried to float slightly in the air. Fong Ping and the others looked nervous. Fortunately, floating in the air was not a big problem. Fong Ping thought for a while, then threw a stone into the air. As soon as the stone rose into the air, it disappeared in the blink of an eye. A crack flashed in the air. Fong Ping said seriously, 30 meters. After saying that, he looked at Li Hansong and said, "Go up a little, about 20 meters. Try throwing a stone." Li Hansong nodded. Very quickly, he walked up about 20 meters along the plankway and threw a stone. This time, the stone did not disappear 10 meters in the air. It was still about 30 meters in the air. Fong Ping breathed a sigh of relief and said with emotion, "Ingenious workmanship. The sealed world is not flat, but arranged along the plankway all the way up diagonally." Everyone nodded slightly. At this time, Li Hansong threw a few stones on both sides of the plankway. Very quickly, his expression turned serious and said, "Fong Ping, be careful. Out of the plankway, there are void cracks on both sides." When he threw the stone, it disappeared into the cracks as soon as it left the plankway. In other words, on this winding ancient path, only the steps and 30 meters above the ground were safe areas. Everywhere else was dangerous. Ancient martial artists are so domineering. Fong Ping sighed. They were indeed domineering. There was only one path in Xuanda Grotto Heaven. Visitors had to walk this path. Moreover, they could not use flight step or run around. If the owner of this place wanted you to walk the right path, you had to walk the right path. Using flight step or running around was courting death. It was unlike modern times, where martial artists did not have much sense of territory. Even in the Department of Education, if someone used flight step and disappeared above old Zhang's head in a flash, Old John would not care too much if it was one of his own. Of course, there was still a ban on flying. However, for high-rank martial artists, there were actually not many who obeyed the ban. Sometimes, flying was indeed more convenient. As they talked, they walked up. After a while, Fong Ping suddenly said, "Iron Head, I want to do an experiment. Listen and see if it's feasible." "You want to borrow my armor?" Li Hansong grinned. He did not say much. The armor on his body disappeared instantly and appeared in his hand. He threw it to Fong Ping and said, "You want to test if the space cracks can cut through my armor, right?" "That's right." Fong Ping's eyes flickered. "If it can withstand it, Iron Head, lend me this thing. At the crucial moment, I'll drag a rank 9 and use flight step together. The cracks are purely physical damage. If they can't cut through the armor, then I'll be fine." Wang Jinyang frowned. "What do you know? I saw the cracks last time. When they erupted, they also cut through mentality. I'll be fine as long as I don't release my mentality." Fong Ping did not say much. He picked up the human-shaped armor and tested it on the left side of the ancient path. As he tested it, he said, "If you really break it, I'll get you a better set later." The cracks can't even cut through a paragon. The strength of a paragon's physique is only SOSO. If this thing is not as useful as a paragon's physique, then it's not a very good thing. The few of them were speechless. Did he not feel guilty when he said that? His tone was not just a little big. When a paragon was cut by the space cracks, he would also need to use his vitality to prevent his body from suffering too serious injuries. That was under the condition that there were few cracks. This meant that it was not just his physique that could withstand it. If a set of armor could block the cracks, then it would be much stronger than a desperate inner armor. As Fong Ping said that, he was just about to test it when he suddenly threw the armor to Li Hansong. Li Hansong was surprised. "What's wrong? If it's really broken, it's not a big deal." "I forgot. This set of armor seems to be connected to your body. If it's really broken, you'll probably be heavily injured too." Fong Ping almost forgot about this. He believed that Li Hansong would not forget. However, this guy actually asked him to try just now. Fong Ping was helpless. He glanced at him and said, "I forgot about it. You want me to cut it? Are you an idiot?" Li Hansong smiled foolishly and did not say anything. Just as Fong Ping was about to give up, Li Hansong took the armor and stretched out the plank path. Creak! A sharp, ear-piercing sound was heard. Li Hansong hurriedly pulled back the armor, his face slightly pale. Amazing! Li Hansong had a lingering fear in his heart. He looked at the fine crack that appeared on the armor. Very quickly, the crack began to heal. "I can block it, but I need to expend energy to repair it. It'll only take a moment. My ability is not good enough. Repairing the divine armor will consume a lot of energy." As he said that, Li Hansong looked excited. "However, if I really have to drag a rank 9 into the rift, I don't know if it'll cut him to death first or my armor first. If that's the case, in the land of boundaries, I also have a trump card against a rank 9. Li Hansong was quite excited. He did not really want to be a shield. He had to have some offensive means. This was not bad. At a critical moment, if he could drag a rank 9 into the sky, he might be able to kill the rank 9 with the help of the space rift. Li Hansong was excited. Fong Ping did not discourage him. Neither did he dissuade him. Instead, he warned, "If I tell you to do it, do it. If I don't tell you to do it, don't make your own decisions." In the land of boundaries, only one voice is needed. That is my voice. This is also the consensus of many catacombs trips. Without my permission, don't think that you're doing a good deed by acting on your own. Most of the time, good intentions turn into bad things. The three of you, I'll say the ugly words first. If you act on your own and don't die this time, we'll part ways in the future. The smiles on their faces disappeared. Very quickly they nodded. They understood Fong Ping's meaning. In the catacombs, they could not act on their own when acting together. It would often implicate the entire team. "Let's go. Go up. Iron Head will scout the way." The few of them stopped talking. Their movements were weak, and they began walking up the ancient path. Just as Fong Ping and the rest were walking up the ancient path. At the end of the ancient path, on a huge platform, at this moment, a few figures were sitting cross-legged on the ground. In front of the figures was an impossibly tall gatehouse. The gatehouse was faintly discernible, surrounded by glittering and translucent giant screens and crystal walls. When Li Hansong's armor was cut, a creaking sound was heard. Among the few figures, the ears of one of them twitched slightly. Very quickly, he opened his eyes and said, "I think someone is coming up. Maple King's men?" Among the crowd, someone spoke. His voice was old, and his face was also very old. However, very quickly, he looked toward the person who spoke first and asked again, "Second progenitor, did they arrive early this time?" The person who spoke first was old and clumsy. His hair and beard were all white. He stood up slowly, his gaze deep as he said, "Maybe. Everyone, get ready for battle." As soon as he finished speaking, on the platform, 5 people stood up. Including the old man, there were a total of 6 people. These 6 people were all clumsy, their faces pale. They had stayed here for many years. This place could not recover energy and recover consumption. They could only let 1 or 2 of them cross the Forbidden Sea every few days to recover. However, the Forbidden Sea was also extremely dangerous. Time and time again, there were people who died on the Forbidden Sea. However, they could not leave. Although the world wall would sometimes become saturated with energy and erupt with energy tides, it was possible that when the energy tide erupted, it was often accompanied by a battle. After so many years, out of more than 10 people in the past, only the 6 of them were left. The 6 of them looked solemn. Divine weapons appeared in their hands, but the divine weapons seemed a little dim. Not only the divine weapons, but the golden bodies of 2 of the rank 8 powerhouses were also extremely dim. The old man who was the leader was the same. His whole body was filled with lethargy. The few of them guarded the intersection between the ancient path and the platform, not saying a word. Not long after, on the winding ancient path, an armored martial artist wearing a full set of armor appeared. A human? The few old men did not make a move. They did not speak. Instead, they were waiting. In the end, the armored warrior took the initiative to speak. Then he said loudly, "Is that a senior from the Chun family of Polaris City up there?" The old man who was the leader looked slightly suspicious. He did not dare to relax, asking in a low voice, "Who are you?" "Oh, I forgot." Before Li Hansong finished speaking, the few old men's expressions changed. They had already sensed the vitality force that belonged to a human. A rank 7 martial artist. However, it seemed like they had just sensed it. For a moment, the few of them were slightly suspicious. Of course, there were many restrictions on the winding plank road. They did not sense it before. Maybe it was blocked by the restrictions. Soon, behind the armored warrior, they saw 3 more figures. They were all rank 7 martial artists. Although 4 rank 7 martial artists were weaker than the 6 of them, they could not be underestimated. "Are you a senior from the Qin family?" At this moment, Li Hansong did not speak again. Fong Ping took the initiative to say, "We are Sino Nation martial artists from martial arts universities. Under Minister Zhang's order, we came to the Xuanda Grotto Heaven to explore the ruins and look for ancient human martial arts cultivation methods." "Martial King's order?" "That's right," Fong Ping said loudly. "The seniors have not told us yet. Are you a senior from the Qin family?" To avoid conflict and affecting the overall situation. The few old men looked at each other. The leading old man said, "We are from the Qin family." After saying that, he asked, "You said that you came under orders. Do you have proof?" Although they were all humans, humans might not be free of traitors. Proof? Fong Ping thought for a while. He did have proof. Zhang Tao's crystal book was the most suitable. However, before old Zhang came, why did he not say anything about giving him a token or something? Now that he had taken out the crystal book, if they were to fight later, would they not know his trump card? Who knew if these people were good or bad? The old men above were not weak. 2 rank 9s, 2 rank 8s, and 2 rank 7s. Although it felt a little fake, no matter how fake it was, a rank 9 was a rank 9. Fong Ping did not expect to meet 2 rank 9 powerhouses here. If they were from the Chen family, then the Qin family was scary enough. 1 paragon, 3 rank 9s, and there was even a rank 9 Qin family patriarch in the House of Guardians. However, Why did these people not go out? The Chun family's patriarch started the neo-martial arts era. According to Warlord, the Chun family's patriarch had given up on exploring the boundaries and no longer walked that path. The Chun family could not be seen in the king's battleground either, unless the newcomers entered once every 3 years. Thinking was just thinking. Fong Ping did not ask for details. He could not get anything out of them now. If they wanted proof, he did not have it. Actually, Fong Ping had proof too. He had the MCMU Vice-Chancellor seal. That thing could prove his identity. However, Fong Ping was too famous. The restricted area was still searching for him. If it was not necessary, there was no need to publicize it too much. From what these few people said, they probably had not gone out for a long time. They probably did not know them. After thinking for a while, Fong Ping looked at Old Wang and the others. Do you have seals or something? They nodded slightly. Fong Ping opened his mouth and said to the few people above, something like the Martial Arts University's Vice-Chancellor's seal. Can it prove our identity? Among us, there's MCMU's Dean, NMAU's Honorary Vice-Chancellor, FMS's Vice-Chancellor. Hearing these titles, the people on the top were stunned. However, very quickly the old man above said, yes. Even if there were traitors among humans, it was not to the point where the leaders of martial arts universities had become traitors. If that happened, martial arts universities would be completely destroyed. Even King Wu would not be so useless. However, listening to the voices of the few people below, the few old men felt that they were not very old. They were also very unfamiliar. A new Grandmaster? After Fong Ping threw a few seals over, the leading old man looked at them and suddenly said, How is Lord King Wu recently? When Lord King Wu broke through to the peak, he shocked the heavens and the earth and made the gods weep. The corner of Fong Ping's mouth twitched. Did they have to do this? If I did not happen to hear some secrets, I would have been tricked by you guys. Fong Ping said helplessly, He's amazing. He broke through as soon as he woke up. Ha! He really is King Wu's man. The old man laughed. That was right. This was a big secret. Most people really did not know. Even those in the catacombs did not know how King Wu broke through. They probably thought that he broke through to the desperate realm during closed-door cultivation. The ones who really knew the inside story were only the few human powerhouses. The Chun family knew about this because the Chun family's elder ancestor knew about it. Those who knew about this were definitely the higher-ups among humans, and trustworthy ones at that. There was no escaping. This was King Wu's shame. Those who knew about this secret were not their own people. They were all killed. Of course, in reality, they did not kill anyone because those who knew about it were their own people. After confirming Fong Ping and the others' identities, the few old men stopped glaring at them. The leading old man smiled and said, Since you are King Wu's men, come on up. They did not block the way anymore. Fong Ping and the others also walked up cautiously. Li Hansong took the lead and soon reached the entrance of the plank road. He deliberately squeezed forward, squeezing the few old men behind him. The leading old man chuckled. He did not say much and took the initiative to step back. He sighed in his heart. Not bad. These people looked quite young, but they were very vigilant. They guarded the entrance of the plank road. If they attacked and knocked them out of the range of the plank road, they would definitely die. In the catacombs, just as Lu Fengru had taught Fong Ping, in this place, do not trust anyone easily, even your own people. Li Hansong occupied the entrance of the plank road. Only then did Fong Ping and the others follow. Once they reached the entrance, Fong Ping's line of sight turned to the looming gatehouse. Seeing Fong Ping looking at the gatehouse, the old man smiled and said, This is the main entrance of Xuanda Grotto Heaven. It is also the only entrance. If you want to enter heavenly mystic virtue, this is the only way. Everywhere else is a dead end. You are here on orders this time. Does King Wu have any instructions? Beside them, an old woman said in a weak voice, Can you tell us about the outside world? Fong Ping asked curiously, Seniors, have you not been out for a long time? Yes, we haven't left this place for 15 years. The few of them were a little emotional. In these 15 years, they did not leave this place at all. Other than some demons, people under the Maple King's command who would come from time to time, and those mountains and rivers that they were tired of seeing, there was almost nothing else here. Not leaving the domain for 15 years was not something that could be represented by a simple number. Fong Ping was a little confused. Staying here for 15 years? Xuanda Grotto Heaven had not opened. It was not suitable for closed-door cultivation here. Even if the energy tide erupted, they could just wait until it happened. Was there a need to guard here every day? Seeing Fong Ping's confusion, the leading old man sighed softly and said, 15 years ago, we were not guarding here day and night. That year, we had already entered the House of Guardians. However, 15 years ago, one of the powerhouses under the Maple King's command obtained a bounded zone token in the King's battleground. These few years, he often sent people here to enter Xuanda Grotto Heaven. We were ordered to guard the entrance and not allow the powerhouses under the Maple King's command to open the bounded zone. That's why we can't leave. If we leave and miss the people under the Maple King's command, we will be in trouble. Moreover, we can't easily change people. The bounded zone is extremely dangerous. Changing people once is a huge crisis. That's why we can only keep waiting here, Fong Ping said hurriedly. Someone under the Maple King's command obtained the bounded zone token. From Xuanda Grotto Heaven? Should be. The old man said, if not, the Maple King won't keep sending people here. Some information, the restricted area knows more than us. If he is not confident, he won't keep sending people here to die. Father knew about this back then. That's why he sent us here to guard. Father? Fong Ping swallowed. Could it be the Chun family's elder ancestor's son? Back then, he had asked if there were any second-generation people from each family who had survived. Zhang Hao said there might be. Now, did he mean that he had met one? Some of the second-generation people in Star Town were more than 300 years old. He had met a living antique. As if he understood Fong Ping's meaning, the Chun family's second elder laughed and said, it's rare to meet people from outside the restricted area. Since the restricted area hasn't sent people here yet, if there's anything you need help with, you can let us know. Leave early before they come. If there's a chance, help us pass a message back to the House of Guardians that we are still alive. Father sent Little Nine to meet us. Unfortunately, Little Nine died in battle here not long after he arrived. I'm afraid Father is also worried about the situation here. Fong Ping understood what he meant. Obviously, Elder Ancestor Chun was at Mount Royal Sea. He might not be able to detect the situation here. As for Elder Ancestor Chun, he probably could not come to the outskirts to detect at close range. He had sent someone to check, but the person who was sent died in the end. Right now, he might not even know if there were still people alive here. As for the last time Li Zhen and Zhang Tao went to Tianan to investigate, Fong Ping suspected that these two might have been investigating at Mount Royal Sea. However, Fong Ping still asked curiously, if the few of you let one of you cross the Forbidden Sea, Guardianship will be able to detect. The old man could not help but laugh. Even a paragon won't cover the outskirts with mentality all the time, and it will consume a lot of energy, unless it's a critical moment. Father doesn't know when we'll go out, so naturally, he won't cover this place all the time. Moreover, it's a little difficult for Father to cover this place. Fong Ping did not say anything, but he was calculating in his heart. It seemed like Elder Ancestor Chun was not as powerful as Old Zhang. Old Zhang's mentality covered here and there every day. He liked to cover his mentality when eavesdropping, and he did not care about the consumption. Could it be that eavesdropping could train mentality? It seemed like it. Previously at Magic City and Tianan, those true kings in the restricted area only needed a moment to cover. However, Old Zhang seemed to be watching all the time. Warlord too. No, Warlord seemed to have retreated halfway. Old Zhang was really there all the time, monitoring the entire outskirts at all times. Magic City's catacombs were much bigger than the Shishan catacombs. Old Zhang is amazing. Fong Ping sighed in his heart. How old was Old Zhang again? He had never asked before, but he seemed to have heard Fatty Jiang mention it before. 85 years old? He seemed to have achieved Paragon less than 20 years ago. Li Zhen achieved Paragon at 70 years old. Whether Old Zhang was earlier or later than him, Fong Ping was not too sure. However, These few had not left the bounded area for 15 years, yet they knew the secret of old Zhang's breakthrough. If that was the case, did it mean that he broke through before he was 70 years old? So old Zhang broke through earlier than Commander Li. Fang Ping was still thinking when the old man said, "The bounded area and Mount Royal Sea are not connected. We have to go through the endless mountains to get out and enter. It's extremely dangerous. Moreover, going in and out through the Forbidden Sea is also extremely dangerous. That's why communication has been cut off these few years." Fang Ping understood and said immediately, "Don't worry. When we get out, we'll definitely inform the House of Guardians." As he said that, Fang Ping looked at the gatehouse again and said, "Senior, this time we came under orders to open the bounded area. Since the few of you are here, it'll be much more convenient." Fang Ping had not finished speaking when the old man said in surprise, "You guys, did you get the token too?" Yes. Even when they were here, these few were still guarding here. Fang Ping did not hide it, or else they would see it when they went in later. Chapter 663. On the huge platform, Li Hansong and the two elders guarded the entrance of the walkway while Fang Ping chatted with Chen Yaozu. Yes, Chen Yaozu. Fang Ping suspected that this Chun family's second grandmaster was related to Chen Yaoding. Two brothers? Could old Chen be a child the Chen family abandoned? Of course, the possibility was not high. The Xuanda Grotto Heaven has never been opened. A long time ago, we came to the Xuanda Grotto Heaven many times, but we could not open it. In addition to the danger and father's decision to start the new martial era and not blindly pursue further, the Chen family gave up guarding the boundary zone. Until more than 10 years ago, Maple King suddenly let his divine generals enter. Father felt that something was wrong and sent us here. That was when we found out that Maple King had obtained the token of the Xuanda Grotto Heaven. Chen Yaozu briefly explained these things to Fang Ping and finally said, "The energy tide erupts here once every 3 months. When it erupts, it is also when the boundary barrier is the weakest and the easiest to open. Since you have the token, you should know that just the token is not enough. It must have the owner's aura. However, when the boundary barrier is weak, with the token, there is hope to open the Xuanda Grotto Heaven through the door. Therefore, every time the energy tide erupts, Maple King's people will come most of the time. However, the token is in their hands. We don't know when they will come, so we can only wait." Fang Ping could not help but say, "Then kill them and snatch the token." Chen Yaozu smiled bitterly. Beside him, the old lady sighed too. "It's not that easy. After all these years of fighting, we have both suffered casualties. In addition, we can't return and can't frequently pass through the Forbidden Sea to recover. We are now an arrow at the end of its flight. When you go back this time, I hope to inform you so that someone can come and replace you as soon as possible. It's not that we are afraid of death, but we can't recover to our peak. The people in the Forbidden Zone come in peak condition every time. If this goes on, we will not be able to defend soon. Once they open the Xuanda Grotto Heaven, there may be a new desperation powerhouse born. Is the Maple King's subordinate very powerful?" The Maple Monarch is an old true monarch of the Fey Plant Royal Court. He became a true monarch earlier than my father. Chen Yaoding sighed. He has 8 divine general-level powerhouses under him, which are rank 9. Apart from these 8, there were also a few children, 2 of whom were rank 9. One of them was killed by us back then. However, the other person is extremely powerful. He is on par with me, and he has also walked his own path. Fang Ping asked suspiciously, "Maple Ninth City? You know him?" Chen Yaozu was shocked. "You know Feng Jiu City?" Fang Ping nodded. "I know him. Of course I know him. Back in the King battlefield, he was so pitiful. If Zhang Tao wanted to hit him, he would hit him. The others didn't give him any face either. Even King Huai wasn't polite to him. Feng Jiuqing was so angry that he was about to vomit blood. When old Yao and the others went out, Feng Jiuqing wanted to attack them, but old Zhang coldly snorted and blew up his palm. Who knew if he was fine now? From Chen Yaozu's tone, it seemed that the other party was quite strong. Both of them seemed to be first-generation bloodlines at the pinnacle. It seemed that they were evenly matched. Thinking of this, Fong Ping coughed softly and said, Senior, how far has your rank 9 Dao progressed? Is it 100 meters? Hmm? Chen Yaozu looked confused. What did he mean? Fong Ping explained. Isn't it difficult to divide rank 9? I heard from Minister Zhang last time that the pinnacle powerhouses have walked 1,000 meters on their path and reached the end. That is the pinnacle. Based on this division, have you walked 100 meters? It was really difficult to use specific quantifiers to divide rank 9. Fong Ping did not even know how to measure the strength of a rank 9 powerhouse. Chen Yaozu heard this and laughed. He said, Martial King, this analogy is quite vivid and direct. Previously, we only made some rough divisions. Actually, in the division of realms, there are rarely any special big differences between the pinnacle and those below it. There are mainly 4 stages. Weak rank 9 who have comprehended the origin path, strong rank 9, and pinnacle. You should know the rest. As for strong rank 9, it means rank 9 martial artists who have already walked a part of the origin path. There is also a big gap between them. If we really divide it according to the 1,000 meters you mentioned, let's not talk about the weak rank 9. He has just barely stepped into rank 9. The gap between him and rank 8 is not too big. Rank 9 and strong rank 9 who have comprehended the origin path can be divided together. It's about 1 meter to 999 meters. However, don't think that the gap is huge. In reality, after comprehending the origin path, the gap is not as big as you think. On the other hand, 999 meters and 1,000 meters. That is a world of difference. Chen Yaoting sighed. This 1 meter difference is too big. If walking 999 meters on the origin path can allow you to fight 1 against 3 and defeat 3 rank 9 martial artists on the origin path, then at the pinnacle, you can fight 1 against 5 and defeat 5 powerhouses who have walked 999 meters. Do you think you can defeat 15 martial artists who have just comprehended the origin path? Then you are gravely mistaken. When the gap is huge, then it is not a matter of numbers. Killing some powerhouses who have just walked the origin path at the origin path is just a matter of moments. At this time, it is no longer a matter of numbers. For example, when you have mentality-vitality fusion, you can defeat 5 early-stage rank 6 martial artists working together, or even more. However, when you defeat rank 4 and 5 martial artists, at this time, it is not a matter of numbers. If there are many rank 4 and 5 martial artists, you can kill early-stage rank 6 martial artists, but it is difficult to kill mentality-vitality fusion. Of course, Fong Ping understood. He asked immediately, then how far have you walked? If I really want to calculate 600 or 700 meters. Chen Yaozu smiled and said, maybe you don't understand. Back then, this old man and Zhao Xingwu sparred once, and I won by a stroke of luck. Fong Ping understood immediately. He was ranked top 10 among the rank 9. Moreover, he had a rank 9 divine weapon. Fong Ping thought of this and asked hurriedly, did you use a rank 9 divine weapon? How could that be? Chen Yaozu burst out laughing. It was just a sparring. How could I use a divine weapon? Fong Ping understood again. He understood now. He was about the same as Wu Chuan, maybe a little stronger. In that case, Fengzhou City was not weak. As for Wu Quishan, Zhang Tao said last time that he might reach the level of Zhao Xingwu and the others soon. That meant that he was still not as good as this old man in front of him. There are 9 rank 9s under King Feng's command. Indeed, he is very powerful. Beside him, the old woman sneered. 9? Second progenitor has been guarding here, not recovering, because he is not willing to give them a chance to enter the platform. Because only by guarding here can he unleash his full strength, and it is easier to kill rank 9s. All these years, second progenitor has killed a total of 3 rank 9 divine generals. There are only 7 rank 9s left under King Feng's command. King Feng has his own royal territory in the restricted area, and there are at least a few rank 9s guarding it. Every time they come here, there are at most 3 or 4 of them. If Fengzhou City doesn't come, the others will practically have a death wish. As the old woman spoke, she looked at Chen Yaozu and sighed softly. It's a pity that second progenitor can't leave. Once he leaves, Endless Mountain will know very soon, and King Feng will send people here very soon, We also know their goal, which is to drag second progenitor to death. Therefore, we are also very happy that you can come this time. We hope that the situation here can be spread out as soon as possible, so that Patriarch and the others can send people here to take over. At least we have to give second progenitor time to recover. Fong Ping nodded. Chun Yaozu was like the old vice-chancellor of MCMAU. The battle had been going on for a long time, and it had been dragged on. His injuries were getting more and more serious. Right now, the restricted area was to drag him to death. As for the humans, Chun family patriarch might not be unaware of the situation. In fact, he could also determine it through the people coming from the restricted area. However, it was very difficult for human powerhouses to enter the bounded area. Now that King Feng had sent people to keep an eye on this side and send people to take over, they might die halfway. There were not many rank 9s among humans. Chun family patriarch dared not be unwilling to take the risk. Since his son could still drag it out, then he would continue to drag it out. Senior, then how long until the next energy tide erupts? Chun Yaozu calculated for a while and said, about 5 days. So long? Fong Ping looked helpless. 5 days? 5 days in the forbidden catacombs. Maybe the war would be over. I still want to go out and join the war. However, according to Chun Yaozu, if the energy tide did not erupt in the boundary wall, he could not enter at all. Fong Ping thought about it and decided to give it a try. Without asking any more questions, a token appeared in Fong Ping's hand. It was the Zhangxian token that old Wang had obtained. Fong Ping held the token and approached the illusory gatehouse. When the token was near, the silent token exploded with a faint glow, and the illusory gatehouse seemed to have become clearer. At this time, Wang Jinyang stretched out his hand and touched the boundary wall, giving Fong Ping a questioning look. Fong Ping nodded. Old Wang did not hesitate either, punching out. Rumble! With a loud explosion, Old Wang flew out. He said, "Can't." On the other side, Li Hansong, who was guarding the plank road, said, "Let me try." Old Wang. Wang Jinyang did not say much and went to guard the plank road entrance. They took turns to guard. Chun Yaozu did not say anything either. These brats were probably still worried that they would block the plank road entrance and catch them all in one fell swoop. They were quite vigilant. Li Hansong ran over. He also unleashed a vitality outburst and punched out. The result was the same. He flew out. This time, Li Hansong was also helpless. He mumbled, "No." Fong Ping and the rest knew what he meant. It was not his home. Yao Qingjun did not need his reminder. He also tried. The boundary wall still retaliated. "Can't." Fong Ping frowned. No one activated the token in his hand. Without a matching aura, it could only make the illusory gatehouse slightly clearer. It could not open the door. Did this not mean that he had to wait for the energy tide to arrive 5 days later? Old Wang and the other two actually could not enter. They were all attacked. It seemed like they were not familiar with the owner here. 5 days, the other party will send people here in 5 days. Fong Ping actually did not really want to meet the people from the restricted area. Feng Jiuqing also knew him. If he really met them, that guy would go crazy and kill him when he saw him. The Chun family had 2 rank 9 martial artists here. They were not weak. But now they were extremely weak. Fong Ping glanced at these people. He could actually give them imperishable substances to help them recover. However, it was their first time meeting. Who knew if these people were really good people or fake? If they got greedy at the sight of money and killed him and the rest, then they would be finished. As for the token, Fong Ping looked at the token in his hand. If this thing was really snatched away, he actually did not care too much. This stupid thing could not even open the door. It might not be of much use. How do I get in? Fong Ping stared at the gatehouse for a while. The token had some effect, but the effect was not obvious. It lacked the owner's aura. That group of resurrected martial artists is actually related to the bounded boundaries. They might have been the descendants of the major grotto heavens in their past lives. In Star Town, I have seen many resurrected martial artists. Except for a few whose ranks are higher than mine, I can imitate the other's aura. Not only them, I can also imitate the aura of many rank 7 martial artists in the Hall of Myriad Origins who have not been resurrected. The token did not respond last time. Maybe that little bit of life origin is too weak. It might not be impossible. Fong Ping glanced at Chen Yaozu and the rest again, calculating in his heart. He simulated it. If he could open it, these people would not want to follow him in, would they? If they really followed him in and saw the absolute hope, Fong Ping dared not guarantee that this kind-looking old man would really not be tempted. I can't let them recover now. If they really recover to their strongest, although I don't think old Wu is too strong, it won't be difficult to kill me in a second. I won't even have the strength to fight back. Unless I come out from inside. While Fong Ping was thinking, a crystal book suddenly appeared in front of him. As soon as the crystal book appeared, Chen Yaozu and the rest's expressions changed. Chen Yaozu was just about to speak when Fong Ping suddenly restrained his aura. He smiled and said, "This is the treasure that the minister gave me before I came. He said that it will help in opening the bounded zone. Senior, let me try to open it now." As he said that, Fong Ping added, "The few of us have been given the right to control this thing by the minister. Oh Wang, you guys come together. Let's try opening it together." Chen Yaozu's face was blank. A martial king could do this? He really did not know. His old father was the absolute peak, but he had never heard that he could give others a treasure that could conceal their aura. He recognized this thing. Was it not just a mentality clone? How could it conceal its aura? However, he could still see Fong Ping's aura concealment. Even he did not notice anything strange. Fong Ping did not say much. He also did not let Old Wang continue to guard the plank road entrance. When the few of them came, Fong Ping concealed their auras together. Then he hit a series of hand seals at the crystal book. Old Wang and the rest did not change their expressions, following suit. Chen Yaozu and the rest were stunned. What was he doing now? He had not left the realm territory for 15 years. Could it be that the martial arts in the outside world had changed again? Fong Ping did not care what they thought. Very quickly, he threw the token onto the crystal book. At this time, while Fong Ping was making hand seals, he was in fact constantly imitating the aura of the resurrected martial artists, imitating the rank 7 martial artist life origin aura in the Hall of Myriad Origins. He thought of something. He imitated the aura, opened the door, and brought Old Wang and the rest in. That way, they could all imitate the same aura. However, Chen Yaozu and the rest, Fong Ping felt helpless. You guys are too strong. I can't bring you guys along, even if I wanted to. I can't change the aura of people who are stronger than me. Therefore, if the door really opened later, they would not be able to enter. Fong Ping changed his aura again and again, but the token did not respond. Among the resurrected martial artists he met in Stellar Sky City, other than the few that could not be imitated, he tried the rest, but it still did not work. Helpless, Fong Ping could only continue trying. That day in the Hall of Myriad Origins, Hall 318, other than rank 8 and 9, there were close to 100 early stage and middle stage rank 7 martial artists. And in these halls, there were about 50 or so life origin existences. At this moment, Fong Ping was imitating these life origin auras. While imitating, Fong Ping said, "Senior, if we really go in, see if we can seize some restorative treasures like imperishable substances so that you guys can recover your full combat strength. However, this token might not be able to pass through many areas, so it might not work. I don't know if we can get the cultivation method this time." Fong Ping rambled on. Li Han Song and the rest continued to remain silent. Was he going to lay the groundwork in advance? Or was he going to appease them? When we come out, if the people from the restricted area come, when the time comes, you guys will recover your full strength. And I will use the backup that the minister left behind to kill all the rank 9s under the Maple King's command in one go. When the time comes, after we seize the token, you guys can return to the House of Guardians. There's no need to continue guarding here. Chun Yaozu laughed. If you guys can really go in, forget about the restorative treasures. The cultivation method is the most important. Don't worry, we will guard this side well, so that you guys won't encounter the people from the restricted area the moment you come out. The old man's words sounded very touching. Fong Ping also felt that a person who guarded for 15 years without even recovering from his injuries was worthy of respect. But in the end, he did not do anything that would expose his possession of large amounts of imperishable substances. He would think about it after going in. If he could not go in, then he would give these people some imperishable substances before leaving, and leave after that. As he spoke, the token floating in midair suddenly trembled. Fong Ping's expression changed. The others looked at the token one after another. At this moment, the token was actually glowing with an even brighter light. And the gatehouse was also becoming clearer. Not enough, but it's effective. This is the Tai Bai Mountain Green Bull sect leader's aura. Fong Ping remembered the owner of this rank, 7 martial artists' origin aura, and his eyes moved slightly. Tai Bai Mountain Green Bull sect. This was a sect from 1,000 years ago. It felt like it had nothing to do with the Xuanda Grotto, but the Xuanda Grotto, according to the legend, it was located in Tai Bai Mountain. Sure enough, those sects from 1,000 years ago are related to the Bounded Boundaries. When Commander Li entered the Bounded Boundaries back then, it was said that his mother was a resurrected martial artist. That little bit of origin inheritance actually allowed him to enter, probably related to Commander Li's powerful strength. His aura is too weak. Not enough. Thinking of this, Fong Ping suddenly looked at Old Wang and the others, growling, "Go all out." Previously, they had restrained their auras. These fellows were really pretending, and Fong Ping was only imitating. But now, Fong Ping had also changed their auras in an instant. It was the same aura as the Green Bull sect leader. For people, all rank 7, and 2 of them were middle stage rank 7. With this kind of strength, even if the Green Bull sect leader was resurrected and recovered his original strength, there was no way he could compare. For people's auras changed instantly. Fong Ping's palm appeared blood red, and a gush of vitality force surged into the token. The other 3, one after another, followed suit and acted together. The token trembled even more violently, and the gatehouse too became clearer. Chun Yaozu was dumbfounded. This could work too? How did he do it? King Wu even knew how to open the bounded domain. This was too unbelievable. The few of them looked at the crystal book one after another. How did King Wu do all this? While Chun Yaozu was in a daze, he could not help but say, King Wu is getting stronger and stronger. Could he really take that step? The old ancestor beside him also said in shock, could it really open the Xuanda Grotto heaven? If it could be opened with just a token, then many grotto heavens would have been opened by now. Opening the grotto heaven required more than this. Although King Feng's people came here with the token, they only wanted to wait for the tide to erupt when the boundary wall was the most unstable, and used the token to open a gap. But now the energy tide had not erupted yet. Even if King Feng's people wanted to open the gap, they would have to pay a huge price. They might even need a rank 9 powerhouse to break the barrier by force. Chun Yaozu looked at the token, then at the gatehouse that was getting more and more realistic. His eyes were filled with excitement, and he murmured, if it can really be opened, then take away the things inside. Even if King Feng's people come again and really open the bounded domain, it will be no big deal. When that time came, he could go home. It had been 15 years. He had guarded this place for 15 years. Day and night, he was worried that King Feng's people would come, barge in, take away something useful to humans, or obtain the opportunity to enter the peak. If all these were gone, even if the bounded domain was rich in energy, it would be nothing. If King Feng really wanted it, so what if he gave it to him? They were excited, but Fong Ping was even more excited. At this moment, Fong Ping's face was flushed red. He roared, harder, go all out. This isn't the real master's aura. It's just borrowing the minister's power to forcefully change a little aura. It's not enough. Li Hansong was mentally exhausted. Even at this time, he still didn't forget to push the blame to the minister. When these people went back later and asked, he would be exposed. But after thinking about it, it was nothing. When he really went back, Fong Ping was probably not afraid of being exposed. Here, he was worried that the Chen family would get greedy at the sight of wealth. He was not afraid when he went out. Moreover, by then, he would probably have gotten all the things in the bounded domain. Buzz, buzz, buzz. the boundary wall began to tremble. The gatehouse seemed to be squeezing out. The sparkling and translucent boundary wall began to ripple like water. Fong Ping hurriedly kept the crystal book in his arms. If this thing did not attract the counterattack of the bounded domain, it would be troublesome. Now it was more or less enough to pretend. They began to move toward the gatehouse. The boundary wall trembled even more violently. Wisps of liquid-like energy began to atomize and permeate. It's really going to open. The members of the Chen family were overjoyed. Soon, however, Chen Yaozu's expression changed. Get ready. Now that the boundary wall is fluctuating in advance, it will soon trigger the energy tide. King Feng's people are coming. After saying that, Chen Yaozu looked at Fong Ping and the others and shouted, "My friends, you must be careful. After entering, do not wander around. These tokens are not the core tokens. No, the real master of the Grotto Heaven doesn't need tokens at all. The token is only a pass for some outer disciples, so don't enter the depths and don't enter the secret place. Try going to the cultivation tower. Even if you can't get the mentality cultivation method, the other cultivation methods from the ancient martial era can also be a great reference for us. Remember, the most important thing is the cultivation method." At this time, Fong Ping had already seen a small gap opening in the boundary wall. Looking at the old man's earnest advice, Fong Ping felt helpless. It seemed like he was going to bleed. Moreover, once the boundary wall opened, the energy would leak. King Feng's people were coming. Fong Ping shouted in a low voice, "Enter." Old Wang and the others were extremely fast. Like noodles, they squeezed into the gap forcefully. Their bodies were hit by the brutal energy, leaving bloody marks. Iron Head was the first to squeeze in. He pulled Old Yao and Old Wang, pulling them to their deaths. He pulled so hard that their bones creaked. He dragged the two of them in forcefully. Without the support of these three people, the gap in the boundary wall began to shrink. At this time, while squeezing into the gap, Fong Ping turned around and threw a big gold ball, saying loudly, "This is the life-saving treasure that the minister gave us. Seniors, this is for you. Don't die. It's okay even if we die, but you are the pillars of humanity." Chen Yaozu caught the gold ball and knew what it was. He panicked and said, "No, my friend. Seniors, we can die without regrets. You must live. You must live. My name is Fong Ping. If I die, please take care of my family." As he spoke, Fong Ping had already been dragged in by the three of them like a dead dog. "You're still acting at this time. Aren't you tired? You still have to do a parting of life and death, a virtuous and righteous performance." Old Wang and the other two were about to collapse. Did they not see that the boundary wall was about to close completely? As soon as the four of them entered, the boundary wall closed completely. The gatehouse once again returned to its illusory state. Chen Yaozu was moved. He looked like he was struggling. He sighed and said, "My friend Fong Ping, how can this be? The martial king gave them these life-saving immortal substances. This much, it shows how much the martial king values them. Now that these are gone, what should we do?" The other Chen family elders also had complicated expressions. Someone said in a low voice, "Second patriarch, if the few of them are seriously injured inside and don't have the immortal substances to recover, it'll be troublesome." Chen Yaozu sighed. "How can I not know? My friend is worried about our injuries." Sigh. As soon as he finished speaking, he looked at the old woman beside him with a face full of dissatisfaction. He scolded, "Little Seven, who told you to talk nonsense earlier? You had to say that I'm seriously injured." Although the old woman was not young, she still looked respectful when she was scolded. She said apologetically, "Second patriarch, I was just complaining. I didn't expect that my friends would have the immortal substances." Sigh. Chen Yaozu sighed again. He shook his head and said, "Fine, share some with them. Recover your strength as soon as possible. I hope my friends can return safely. If something really happens after we get out, we'll repay you for saving our lives." Chen Yaozu sighed again and again. His heart was filled with emotion. The martial artists of the neo-martial era were indeed different. His father started the neo-martial era. Today, the Qin family descendants benefited from it. It could be considered a drink and a peck. It's just that I took advantage of my friends. How can I be at ease? Chun Yaozu sighed again. Fine, it was good to recover their strength. When the Maple King's people came, they could catch them off guard and give them a fatal blow. There's nothing I can do to repay you. I can only kill a few more enemies. At this moment, the Qin family's second patriarch was filled with emotion for Fong Ping and the others. The younger generation had such a character. No wonder he entered rank 7 at such a young age. With such a breadth of mind, as long as they could come out alive this time, they would be more than just rank 7. Genius in a second. Remember this site's address. Mobile version. Chapter 664. Now, during the double monthly vote period, 5,000 votes would be enough to catch up. Old Eagle wanted to be in the top 10 of the annual billboard. Originally, when the Golden Keyboard of the Month came out, Old Eagle would be satisfied with just taking it. His brothers had also spent a lot of money on the Golden Keyboard. If he went to the monthly votes list, it would be too greedy. But his brothers had given Old Eagle hope. Yesterday, the gap between him and the 10th place was over 40,000 votes, so Old Eagle had not thought about it. But now, everyone could see that the gap was so small that it was practically tempting to commit a crime. At this point, Old Eagle definitely had to do something. He had to make a fortune, he had to be in the limelight, he had to show off for once. In short, everything could be summed up in one word: do it. There were only 2 days left. He still hoped that everyone could cast some monthly votes, catch up, and take the top 10 of the year. The top 10 of the year were all platinum and godly. If Old Eagle managed to sneak in, perhaps he would become a godly next year. There was still hope. Brothers, please give me some support in the last 2 days of 2018. Thank you very much. Take the top 10 and have a great 2018. Chapter 665. It feels so good. A moan jolted everyone out of their reverie. The three of them looked at Li Hansong. Li Hansong looked embarrassed and said sheepishly, I couldn't help it. It felt so good. They ignored him. This guy was developing in the same direction as Qin Fengqing. Fong Ping and the others felt good too. At this moment, it was as if they had fallen into seawater of energy. While Li Hansong was complaining about how good it felt, Fong Ping had already taken out a super big bottle. Gurgle. The energy in the Xuan de Grotto heaven had really liquefied. The energy tide had not erupted yet, but the energy in the grotto heaven was already saturated. With a slight fluctuation, it would turn into liquid and drip onto the ground. Fong Ping did not even have time to look around. Once he entered, he took out the big bottle and filled it with energy liquid. He had actually prepared for this. Last time in Tiannan, he already knew that the energy here had liquefied. Before coming here this time, he had also made some preparations. Although energy liquid was not as good as life essence, the liquid that could be turned into was also extremely valuable. At least it was worth more than energy stones. Fong Ping waved the big bottle, fishing around. After a while, the big bottle was filled with energy liquid. While waving the bottle, Fong Ping threw out an even bigger energy crystal box, shouting, Ironhead dig. Don't dig too deep. Be careful. Don't touch the seal underground. There must be a seal here. Dig? Fong Ping scolded. Nonsense. Qin Fengqing ate a mouthful of soil, and his meridians and flesh were directly reforged. That guy just conveniently took a handful. We're here. Yes. Their eyes were bright. At this moment, even Wang Jinyang was no exception. He began to squat down and dig. The underground soil seemed to be slightly crystallized. In reality, Fong Ping and the others were not stepping on soil, but the ground that was paved with energy crystals. A sparkling and translucent crystal path extended from the gatehouse to the interior. However, there was still soil on both sides of the path. They were digging the soil on both sides. As for the energy crystals on the path, no, these were energy stones. Wang Jinyang did not pay attention to it before. Now he suddenly exclaimed, was this originally paved with energy stones? Or did the accumulation of energy recharge these energy crystals and turn them into energy stones? They're all supreme grade. Li Hansong's face was also full of shock. This huge path was filled with top-grade energy stones. In other words, almost all of them were rank 9, which was a higher grade than the core mineral veins. After Li Hansong recovered from his shock, he hurriedly said, "Has this road been dug? I don't know how long the road is. Just the ground alone, a meter long, is equivalent to a cubic meter of top-grade energy stones." It was a 1-meter-long road. Even if they could not see the bottom, just the road surface alone was probably about a ton of energy stones. They were all of the highest quality. 1 gram for 600,000. 1 ton was worth 600 billion. Just by digging this road. Even if it wasn't the entire road, everyone would be rich. This was even greater than digging up King City. It would have been better if they hadn't settled the score, but once they did, their eyes glowed green. Didn't this mean that they could learn from Fong Ping and set up their own private energy mine? Fong Ping's eyes glowed. Then he scolded suddenly, "Stop dreaming. The owner of the Xuanda Grotto is quite evil. There's a restriction underground. The buildings here seem to be like the stone monument. They're considered as a whole." As soon as these words came out, everyone looked regretful. Before this, Wang Jinyang had advised Fong Ping not to have any wicked ideas. Now, as he dug the soil, he stared at the crystal road. His reluctance to part was clear in his words. The stone monument was only a material used to create accessories for the mentality restriction. He did not value it too much. If a middle-ranked and low-ranked martial artist encountered a high-ranked martial artist, even with this, could they really survive? Maybe the source stones were different, especially when they were all of the highest quality. If he brought them back to NMEU within 3 months, the strength of all NMEU instructors and students would increase a lot. Middle-rank martial artists did not care about mentality. Before rank 6, there was no need to locate the Sanjiao Gate. From rank 1 to rank 5, the body honed, the bones honed, the internal organs honed, the flesh and meridians honed. The word honed ran through rank 1 to rank 5. All of this required a large amount of energy to support the martial artist's consumption. Energy was not unlimited. If it was consumed, it would be reduced. If there were more martial artists, the energy consumption would be greater. NMU was not as rich and imposing as MCMAU. They could not support this kind of cultivation. Right now, right under his nose, a real energy Tao was at his disposal, but he could only see it and not take it. Wang Jinyang felt like his heart was broken. As he dug the soil ferociously, he stared at the Tao with a dim light in his eyes, as if he wanted to swallow the Tao alive. The other two were the same. Fong Ping was not surprised at all. Martial artists were actually people who would open their eyes to money. Back then, in order to get some resources, Old Wang did not hesitate to go south and north. He started to cause trouble when he was rank 1, and he even instigated Fong Ping. He was not a good person either. It was just that after reaching the high ranks, some things were not too eye-catching. That was why he was as calm as a big brother. However, when he saw those divine weapons in the king's battleground that day, his eyes were still red, as if he had seen a naked beauty. Yao Qingjun and Li Hansong were no exception. Right now, they all had the same expression. Fong Ping was slightly better. As he filled the energy fluid, he looked around and said casually, "Don't be so short-sighted. It's like you've never seen the energy stones before. It's not easy to come to the boundary zone. Are we here for these things?" "Yes," the three of them said in unison. Fong Ping's face darkened. "Nonsense. We're here for the cultivation methods, for all of humanity to become stronger." "Who said we're here for these?" The three of them showed a look of disdain at the same time. "Since you're not here, then you King started to fill the energy fluid without saying a word? How many big bottles did you prepare?" "No, there were also big boxes. This guy actually built quite a number of huge energy crystal boxes. The few of them were in awe of him. No one was as well prepared as him. If it were someone else, even if they came in, even if they saw all these, they might not have the chance to take them away." Fong Ping ignored them. He looked around and soon felt that something was wrong. Then, he looked up. With this look, Fong Ping said with a shocked expression, "I thought we've already reached the place." It feels like we're still underground. Guys, the Sky Palace is still in the sky. The place they entered was already at the top of a mountain thousands of meters high. Fong Ping thought that after entering the gatehouse, they had already reached the place. But now, when he looked up again, there was actually an incomparably huge palace floating in the air. Previously, when it was blocked by the atomized energy fluid, he did not notice it. As soon as Fong Ping said that, Old Wang and the others looked up quickly. Li Hansong murmured, "It's the same as last time." "No, this place is even higher than the Void Mausoleum Grotto Heaven Sky Palace. I remember that the Void Mausoleum Grotto Heaven Sky Palace is only a few hundred meters in the air. This place is almost 10,000 meters in the air, right? That stretch of endless Sky Palace, even at this moment, was still thousands of meters high in the air. What did this mean? This meant that it was at least 10,000 meters high from the sea level where they entered the bounded zone. Fong Ping, are you sure this is really not your Sky Palace? Li Hansong asked again. Such a tall Sky Palace. Are you sure it was not built by you? If it was not Fong Ping, then the owner of the Xuan de Grotto Heaven was really arrogant. Fong Ping stared at the Sky Palace in the sky, ignoring him. Instead, he said in a low voice, "Be careful, all of you. Don't forget, we encountered that powerful origin in Tiannan last time. Since this place is well preserved, maybe there's also that thing." Hearing that, Li Hansong was a little frightened. He did not forget the last time, when he and Old Qin had just squeezed in, they were controlled by that huge force and then thrown out. Looking around, Li Hansong's eyes flickered slightly. There are also buildings underground. Could it be that the Sky Palace is actually a place where the owner stays and the servants live below? Fong Ping and the others also saw that the area they were in also had buildings. Above them was the Sky Palace suspended in the air. It was a grand scale. Below them, there were also pavilions and towers, the buildings magnificent. As they looked and looked, Fong Ping focused and said, "Be careful, all of you. This place seems to have been destroyed." Fong Ping frowned slightly. He had already seen some buildings in front of him. He did not look too closely before, but now that he looked closely, he realized that something was wrong. Among the buildings, some had already collapsed. It did not seem like they had collapsed naturally over a long period of time. Instead, they were affected and destroyed by the war. Back then, the minister said that the soil that Qin Fengqing ate was not soil, Wang Jinyang said in a low voice, and a few of them reacted quickly. The soil in the boundary zone was actually not just pure soil. It included some messy things. The flesh and blood of powerhouses, the existence of mentality that had been obliterated, imperishable substances, even some of the origin that had spilled out. Previously, they had not really thought about it in detail. Now that they thought about it, did this not mean that the boundary zone had actually also had a war? Could it be that the war back then had affected a wide area, even fighting all the way to their lair, all the way to the boundary zone, and not just limited to the place where the kings fought? Fong Ping said softly, "That's true. It's impossible that the boundary zone did not leave people behind and went out in full force. Maybe in the later stages of the war, some people retreated, and in the end a war still broke out." Fong Ping said casually. A big bottle was already full. Fong Ping kept the bottle and the box of soil that Old Wang and the others had dug up. Looking ahead at the main road, he said, "Let's go. We'll put these small coins aside for now. Let's go take a look at the buildings." As he said that, Fong Ping raised his head and looked at the Sky Palace. The huge Sky Palace buildings seemed to have existed since ancient times, suspended in the air, not moving an inch. This Sky Palace, how did it float up? Everyone shook their heads. They really did not know. This was not a small house. This was an incomparably huge building that stretched for thousands of miles. Fong Ping and the others could also do it now, controlling a small house with mentality and making it float in the air. However, if they were dead, then it would be useless. Absolute peak could solidify mentality, which could be achieved for a long time like the Imperial Sea Mountain. However, the Imperial Sea Mountain also had a foundation. It was built by piling up countless huge boulders. It did not appear out of thin air. However, the Sky Palace was really suspended in the air. Such an incomparably huge building. A boundary zone might not have expended any less energy than the Imperial Sea Mountain. It was simply unbelievable. Li Hansong stared at the Sky Palace for a while, asking, "Can we go up?" Fong Ping, in the past, martial arts ranks were strict. The Sky Palace buildings should be where the masters are. The token that you have and the aura that you imitate might not be some core personnel. "I know," Fong Ping said in a low voice. "Don't go up first. If we alarm something, then it'll be troublesome. We might end up with nothing. Search below first." This token is a rank 9 powerhouses token. Although we can only imitate that rank 7 martial artist aura, rank 7 is not cabbage. There might be a way to enter the Sky Palace. Below, there shouldn't be too many restrictions. The Sky Palace. That's hard to say. We'll check it out later. Even if we're thrown out, we won't end up with nothing. "I'm not afraid of being thrown out. I'm afraid," Li Hansong said softly. "I'm afraid that I'll be like the Yang family's old ancestor. Outside, I'll be suppressed to death." That day, Qin Fengqing said that he saw the Yang family's old ancestor being suppressed to death at the main entrance of the Sky Palace's Imperial Road. Who suppressed him? If he was not mistaken, it was that powerful source energy that was suppressing it. Even an absolute peak could be suppressed to death. It was really too scary. If the boundary zone had ill intentions towards them, with just a few of them, they would be 100% finished. No matter how golden Fong Ping's core house was, it was useless. Once it suppressed you, you would die without a doubt. Fong Ping licked his slightly dry lips and laughed. "Since we're already here, don't think too much about it. Every time we enter the catacombs, it's like this. If there's really no danger, would it be our turn?" As he said that, Fong Ping took a step and said, "Let's go." He was just about to move when Li Hansong said reluctantly, "Let's dig a little more. Otherwise, if we're thrown out later, we'll have come here for nothing." Fong Ping was speechless. He said, "This soil is a little different from what Qin Fengqing grabbed. The energy is very rich, comparable to rank 7 and 8 energy stones, but it doesn't seem to be mixed with anything else. For a little rank 7 and 8 energy stones, don't waste too much time." The few of them looked at him in unison. "Fong Ping, you're too full of yourself. In the past, you were green with envy for low-grade energy stones. Now, you actually don't care about these?" Fong Ping looked helpless. When these guys came in, they kept persuading him not to be green with envy when they saw good things. "I haven't even been green with envy, but you guys are green with envy first." To be honest, Fong Ping did not have much need for things like energy stones now. If he really had a need, that mineral vein of his would be enough for him to use. Now, the only thing that limited his rapid progress in his realm was mentality. After achieving mentality, vitality, unity, he could nurture his mentality. His speed was not slow. In just a few months, his mentality had exceeded 2,200 hertz. It was only late September now. At the beginning of the year, he was only rank 5. However, to Fong Ping, it was still slow. As his knowledge grew, the number of paragons he had seen was more than a handful. The Fong Ping now felt that even a rank 9 was weak. At the very least, he had to be a rank 9 paragon. "All right, dig another box. Once we're done, we'll go explore immediately. You guys, this is all you're asking for." The few of them turned a deaf ear to him. Yes, this was all we were asking for. There was no other way. They were poor. It's not like everyone is as rich as you. Also, if you had the guts, don't take it. While they were digging, Fong Ping began to use the big bottle to scoop up the energy liquid again. More than 10 minutes later, Yao Qingjun said in a low voice, "Dig another box." "Okay." Fong Ping agreed readily. "I'll try fishing another bottle." Half an hour later, Old Wang said, "4 of us, dig 4 boxes. 1 box for each person to distribute." "Okay." 40 minutes later, Fong Ping said with a serious expression, "We're not digging anymore. It's been so long, and we haven't done anything yet." Everyone nodded. There was no other reason. The soil beside the Crystal Avenue was almost hollowed out by them. They did not dare to dig too deep. There was a restriction underneath. Moreover, the soil here was only crystallized energy on the surface. When they reached the depths, it was not much different from the outside world. Not only them, Fong Ping had also almost fished up the energy liquid nearby. He had fished up 4 big bottles. The surrounding energy was obviously much thinner. The few of them did not have any more ideas about the soil and energy liquid. One by one, they stepped onto the Crystal Avenue. Very soon, the few of them walked along the Crystal Avenue and headed toward the depths. Just as they left, outside the border wall, Chun Yaozu and the others could vaguely see the situation inside the border wall now. After staring at the border wall for a while, Chun Yaozu said slowly, "Did you guys notice? Second Patriarch, what's wrong? I don't know if my eyes are playing tricks on me. Didn't you guys notice that the border of the border wall, the ground seems to be a little lower?" The few of them craned their necks to look at the border wall. The border wall was a little blurry, not very clear. After looking for a while, someone mumbled, "It seems to be a little shorter. It seems much lower than where we are. They're scraping the ground 3 feet deep." Someone murmured. He could not help but ask in a low voice, "Second Patriarch, are these few really that pure and kind?" It was not that they could not scrape the ground 3 feet deep. The key was that these few fellows had not gone in for long. Without doing anything serious, they actually went to dig the ground. This was too weird. Chun Yaozu did not answer. He said again, "The energy that seeped in seems to be much weaker. The energy tide this time won't disappear, right?" Fong Ping had fished up 4 big bottles of energy near the border wall. Now, he could clearly feel that the energy that seeped in had become much weaker. The energy that had seeped out when the border wall was forcefully opened earlier had also disappeared. If this went on, the energy tide this time might not erupt. Of course, regardless of whether it would or not, the energy that had seeped out earlier and erupted a lot might have attracted the attention of some monsters. If the monsters moved, the Maple King's men would probably be here soon. Moreover, it was almost the time for the normal energy tide to erupt. The few of them looked at each other. These few fellows were really something. Bandits crossing the border. Energy soil. If it were outsiders who entered, they would probably not even consider these. Someone mumbled, "The avenue behind the gatehouse is still there. The bounded zone's buildings are integrated. With the avenue, it can't be moved away." Inside the bounded zone, the 4 of them walked forward on the Crystal Avenue. After walking for a while, a huge palace came into view. Wang Jinyang stared at the signboard of the palace for a while and said, "Guest Palace." Fong Ping glanced at him and said, "Are you sure?" "I'm sure. This is the place to welcome the guests. More or less. It's not far from the gatehouse. It's probably where the guests temporarily rest." As Wang Jinyang said that, he looked toward the right side of the avenue. There was also a big hall there, but it looked much more boorish. He said, "Myriad Beast Palace." "Myriad Beast Palace?" Fong Ping rubbed his chin and said, "Myriad Beast Palace. Is it where the guests keep their mounts?" "Probably." Wang Jinyang nodded and said, "The left side welcomes the guests and the right side houses the mounts. That's normal." The doors of the 2 big halls were closed at the moment. The guest palace on the left had some carvings on the huge bronze ancient door. The Myriad Beast Palace on the right had many carvings of demons. Li Hansong looked left and right, asking, "Which way should we go?" Fong Ping was not in a hurry to answer. Another stone appeared in his hand, and he threw it toward the guest palace's door. The stone hit the door, making a crisp metallic sound. "Let's go in and take a look at the guest palace. But this is only a place to welcome the guests. There might not be anything good inside." Fong Ping did not hold out much hope. It was normal. Who would store anything good in a place for the guests to rest temporarily? Everyone had no objections. However, when they walked to the front of the bronze door that was more than 10 meters tall, Li Hansong still asked carefully, "There won't be any living people inside, right?" Yao Qingjun did not care too much about this. Instead, he looked toward the door and said, "Under normal circumstances, isn't the door always open for the guest palace? Why is it closed?" Maybe it was on the eve of the Great War that year. They knew that no one would come, so they closed the door. "It's quite normal." Fong Ping explained casually. Wang Jinyang laughed and said, "It's hard to say. Maybe after the Great War, some people fled here and closed the door in order to avoid it. The buildings here are one. I feel that it's also connected to the seal. Maybe it has a certain defense system." The few of them were not making idle guesses. They were worried that opening the door would cause some trouble or attack. The divine armor appeared on Li Hansong's body. He said, "Then I'll try to open the door. You guys stay away." This bounded zone has existed for at least 2,000 years. The battle at the Martial King battlefield was at least 2,000 years ago. If there's really someone alive, the energy here is so rich. Everyone sucked in a deep breath. 2,000 years. Even a pig wouldn't have a low cultivation base under such rich energy. Of course, it was normal for it to die before it could break through. Although martial artists rarely cared about how long powerhouses could live, it was common for rank 7 powerhouses to live for 200 to 300 years. Rank 8 was even more awesome. Rank 8 golden body powerhouses always had abundant energy. It might not be difficult for them to live for 1,000 years. Fong Ping and the others were too lazy to think about how long they could live. It would not be too late to verify it after they had lived for a few thousand years. Li Hansong and the others took a few steps back. They followed the stairs and walked toward the hall door. When Li Hansong started to push the door, a faint vibration came from the gigantic ancient bronze door. The door did not open. Fong Ping observed for a while and said, "It should be a token. The grotto heaven is quite strict." After saying that, Fong Ping did not hide anymore. He went up the stairs and unleashed his vitality. The token emitted a faint glow. As if it had been too long, the hall door trembled for a while. After a long time, the hall door trembled slightly. The two doors began to open slowly. The moment the hall door opened, a decaying aura erupted from the gap of the door. Fong Ping and Li Hansong both took a few steps back. They were not in a hurry to enter. They stood on both sides of the door and waited. "Is anyone there?" Fong Ping shouted. Then he said loudly, "We are human martial artists, earth martial artists. Humans are about to perish. The future generations are here to seek help from the ancestors of the grotto heaven powerhouses." After shouting for a while, Fong Ping said, "Let's go. Let's greet them first. Otherwise, someone will say that we came uninvited." After saying that, Li Hansong still took the lead. Fong Ping and the others were extremely vigilant. They stepped into the hall together. "Have we lost?" "No, it can't be. Where's the sect leader? Where are the 9 true god elders?" "Brothers, follow me and fight our way out. The sect leader will come back." The moment Fong Ping and the others stepped into the hall, a murmur echoed in everyone's ears in the spacious hall. At this moment, everyone seemed to go back in time, back to a few thousand years ago. Before their eyes, scenes of the past seemed to appear. All the powerhouses of the Xuanda Grotto Heaven went out and went to the restricted area to eliminate the enemy. In the end, no one returned. Countless powerhouses surged over and killed their way into the Grotto Heaven. In the guest reception palace, some of the disciples of the Grotto Heaven sect were in despair and disbelief. Under the leadership of some people, they killed their way out of the hall and fought with the enemy. In their ears, the murmurs dissipated quickly. Fong Ping touched a giant pillar in front of him gently. It was stained with some dark colors. It should be blood stains. Back then, there seemed to be a great battle here too. Fong Ping knew that it was not an auditory hallucination. It was the unwilling roar of the group of people in the hall that year. It echoed in the hall for thousands of years. Here, martial artists above rank 7 might have died in battle. Rank 7 martial artist mentality remnants might leave behind some fragments. Sighing, Fong Ping touched the giant pillar and said softly, "The metal giant pillar is comparable to A-class alloy. No, maybe it's even stronger. Ancient martial artists are really rich." It was such a huge metal pillar. At a glance, there were actually dozens of them in the main hall. On the giant pillars, exquisite patterns were carved. They were luxurious yet restrained. "All of them are money." Fong Ping sighed again. In the blessed grotto heaven, He finally understood what it meant to be extravagant. Compared to them, modern martial artists were really poor beyond belief. Someone like old Zhang, who was at the pinnacle, was actually so poor. However, it was just a guest reception hall. If it was really demolished, maybe he could buy dozens of divine weapons. No, maybe even more. It's a pity that I can't take it away. Old Zhang probably hasn't entered the bounded domain before. Otherwise, he would be green with envy. Fong Ping sighed again and again, but he did not forget to look around. When he saw the beam above the hall, Fong Ping suddenly rubbed his eyes and said in a daze, Is this the torso of a rank 9 monster plant? The martial artists of the ancient martial era were too crazy. The beam above the hall seemed to be the torso of a rank 9 monster plant. Fong Ping felt that he could not be wrong. This was too awesome. Using the torso of a rank 9 monster plant, especially a tree monster plant, as a beam was unheard of. This was just the guest reception palace. The sky palace in the sky. How spectacular would that be? No, how rich? Fong Ping was still in shock. Not far away, Wang Jinyang and the others had already begun their inspection. The hall was not really empty. There were some huge chairs on both sides. They did not look like modern chairs, but more like the thrones in the catacombs. As for the skeleton, he did not see it. He did not know whether it was self-annihilation after death, or if some of the people who died that year survived and restrained it. Chapter 666. Fong Ping. While Fong Ping was still staring at the crossbeam above, Yao Qingjun shouted. The few of them looked at him. Yao Qingjun was holding a crystal book in his hand. Crystal book? Fong Ping was stunned for a moment. He walked over immediately and asked in surprise, What is this? It was very similar to old Zhang's crystal book. Of course, there were differences. Fong Ping took the crystal book and looked at it. After a while, he said, It's not a mentality clone. Nonsense. Beside him, Wang Jinyang took the crystal book and looked at Yao Qingjun. You realized it, right? Yes. The two of them were talking in riddles. Li Hansong looked confused, while Fong Ping looked calm. I knew you guys want to see me asking anxiously, but I won't ask. Say it if you want. Old Wang glanced at him and suddenly released his mentality to explore the crystal book. Soon, he frowned and said, It's a book from the ancient martial era. It's very interesting. The ancient martial era isn't as backward as we thought. Old Wang said and said, The material of this crystal book can't be determined, but the person who made this book should be at least a rank 7 martial artist. Only mentality can read it. Li Hansong finally understood and said happily, Cultivation method? Wasn't it a little too easy? Magazine. Everyone was stunned. Wang Jinyang said casually, Ancient Gossip Magazine. It should be for the guests to read, to relieve boredom. This also proves that the guests who come to the Grotto Heaven as guests are at least rank 7. Rank 7 is the standard to be received. It's really extravagant. Otherwise, it would be embarrassing to use this to relieve boredom if those below rank 7 could not read it. Fong Ping also used his mentality at this moment. As expected, once his mentality was released, he saw many words on the crystal book. This thing was similar to invisible ink. Normal people could not see the words at all. Fong Ping looked at the words and felt a headache coming on. He really did not know much about seal script. He did not even know if it was seal script. He really did not have much time to learn these things. He was too busy. What does it mean, old Wang? Read it. I don't know many. Since you said it was a magazine, you should understand some of it. Tell me, is there any information related to cultivation methods? All right. Lao Wang carefully analyzed the situation. After a long time, he slowly said, April X and C, Bamboo Mountain Zhang. Wait. Fong Ping glanced at him. After a while, he said, Zhang so-and-so? Don't be so picky about words. You know that ancient words are quite complicated. Wang Jinyang skipped the story and did not read it out loud. He translated, On the 13th of April, an expert surnamed Zhang from MT Gaiju was dragged into the water by a big fish while he was fishing. It was an extremely embarrassing incident. I'm recording it for everyone's amusement. On the 18th of May, An elder with the surname Liu from Changshan pursued a female elder from Tianmu Mountain. He was ganged up by 3 nameless real god experts. 12th of June, the birthday of the Danyang Mountain sect leader's daughter. The Danyang Mountain sect leader caught a dragon as a birthday present. June 18th, Purple Cap Mountain's first seed MO. Unquestionable sword? Wang Jinyang was stunned. Fong Ping and the others were also stunned. Fong Ping said quickly, "Unquestionable sword? There are records of the unquestionable sword on it. Are you sure you didn't see wrongly?" "No, it's him," Wang Jinyang said in a low voice. 18th of June, Purple Cap Mountain's first seat unquestionable sword's wedding. The sword broke through the void and became a true god. Fong Ping frowned slightly. True gods are rank 9. Rank 9? Rank 9 or rank 9 paragons are called true gods. Rank 9, I guess. Li Hansong said, "You've forgotten that the Hall of Myriad Origins has records of rank 9. They're all called true gods." Of course I know." Fong Ping was speechless. The point is that it was already 1,000 years after the battle at the King battlefield. Do you know that nothing has changed in these 1,000 years? Maybe there were many paragons in the past. Only paragons are called true gods. Later, all the paragons died. Rank 9s also started to be called true gods. There's even a distinction between true kings and false kings in the catacombs. During the ancient martial era, it's really hard to say whether a rank 9 is true god or a paragon. Don't forget, the corpses of powerhouses that we found in the King battlefield were almost all rank 9. If they were all true gods, then too many true god powerhouses have died in the King battlefield. Xuanagrado Heaven seems to only have 9 true god elders. Li Hansong retorted, "Then can there still be 9 paragons? That's not even considered a sect leader." Wang Jinyang sighed softly. "It might not be impossible. Everyone, don't forget, how many paragons are there in the restricted area now?" Li Hansong thought about it and said after a while, "There are at least 100 people in the 4 major dynasties. Maybe more than 100. There are at least 50 paragons on Earth, but they are still suppressed by the Monster Plants dynasty. I suspect that there are even more paragons in the 4 major dynasties. And this is now. What about back then? Back then, there were still 2 kings alive. Maybe they were even stronger. After all, we can infer the grand occasion back then from Mount Imperial Sea. If that's the case, if the bounded domain can really suppress the other party, everyone in the 108 bounded domains, there might not be people everywhere, and there might not be sects everywhere. Maybe there's only a small portion. If that's the case, we can suppress the other party. 1 grotto heaven, 9 paragons, why not?" Yao Qingjun also said, "It's still possible." "You all said that the Yang family's elder ancestor was suppressed to death in the bounded domain. If the bounded domain is not strong, how can it suppress a desperate realm? And this is thousands of years later. 9 paragons. Sect leaders have to be counted separately." Fong Ping took a deep breath and said, "If that's the case, the bounded domain is too strong. Actually, it's also possible that powerhouses who have comprehended the origin path are true god-level powerhouses. Of course, these are not important now." As Fong Ping said that, he looked at Old Wang and said, "If that's the case, Unquestionable Jian is indeed a figure from the ancient martial era. No, it might be the end of the ancient martial era, the early stage of the sect era. After all, these grotto heavens now are somewhat similar to sections. Devil Emperor, Unquestionable Jian." The few of them remembered this name again. This person was really everywhere. He was in the Hall of Myriad Origins, and he was also here. Moreover, he had broken through to rank 9 a long time ago, and was even a desperate realm. Such a powerhouse actually became a deserter? Fong Ping did not think about this anymore. He laughed and said, "Ancient martial artists are also very gossipy. They have to record all kinds of trivial things. Old Wang, stop reading these gossips. Is there any information about cultivation methods?" Wang Jinyang took the crystal book and read it over and over again. He shook his head and said, "No, it's just some gossip. Actually, I can't recognize some of them, but I can roughly guess what they mean." Then everyone look around again and see if there are any crystal books like this. As Fong Ping said that, he took the crystal book from Old Wang's hands and stuffed it directly into the storage space. This thing was not bad. Some gossip might not be useless. If he took it back and studied it, he might be able to restore some of the history of the past. As he searched, Fong Ping laughed and said, "Don't say. I have to learn the production method of this kind of gossip magazine. In the future, I'll specialize in selling gossip news in the Grandmaster Circle." The few of them were speechless. Only he could think of that. Wang Jinyang ignored him. Instead, he said, "There's actually one good thing about the production method of this kind of book. It can preserve the cultivation methods and not destroy them. I just don't know if mentality cultivation methods are also preserved in this way." Fong Ping did not say anything. The chances were not high. In the basilica, Fong Ping and the others searched for a long time, but could not find the second crystal book. The others were still searching. Fong Ping, on the other hand, had already moved the huge thrones and the tea table into the storage space. These things were not connected to the buildings. After Old Wang and the others searched one round, the hall was empty. The few of them were a little dazed. Fong Ping, on the other hand, chuckled and said, "It's a waste not to take them. Good stuff. 6 chairs and 4 tables. You guys don't know. Mother asterisk her, it's so extravagant. They're all made from the monster plant's torso. And not just any monster plant's torso. A rank 8 golden body." Fong Ping sighed and said, "That's awesome. It's just a guest hall. Using the rank 8 golden body monster plant's torso to make these things, and a rank 9 torso to make the beam. Although there's no heart nucleus or brain nucleus, just these materials alone are good stuff to forge divine weapons. Go back and dismantle it. Just this alone, it won't be difficult to sell it for hundreds of billions." The few of them did not say much. Yao Qingjun opened his mouth and said, "There are some residences behind the basilica. It should be the place where the servants or disciples lived back then. We looked around and didn't find any skeletons. Some of the residences are a little messy, probably because they packed their luggage in a hurry." Wang Jinyang added, "The people here might not have all died back then. Some might have run away. Also, after the boundary was attacked, the boundary wall rose again and sealed this place. Did powerhouses come back? I don't know." Fong Ping shook his head and said, "There's nothing else here. It's just a guest hall. I don't expect to find too many things. Let's go and look elsewhere." The few of them did not delay and left the guest hall in no time. When they came out, they realized that Li Hansong did not come out. After a while, Li Hansong came out. When this guy came out, Fong Ping and the others were stunned. Li Hansong was carrying a super huge bag in his hand. He grinned and said, "Didn't I go to the back of the basilica now? I saw a lot of soil at the back. It's not ordinary soil. I think it's like the soil from the garden or the herb garden back then, so I dug it up." Fong Ping laughed, took out an energy crystal box, and stored the soil inside. This thing could be preserved more perfectly if it was stored in this box. The few of them plucked everything. Fong Ping swept away all the furniture in the hall. Li Hansong was even more straightforward. He even dug up the soil in the residential area at the back of the basilica. As for the furniture and the like in the residential area, Old Wang and the others were not interested. That was some simple and crude furniture made of real wood. Many of them had already decayed. The residential area behind the guest hall was probably where the low-ranking disciples lived. They were not surprised. This was the guest hall. It was probably a place where some servants who served tea and poured water stayed. What good stuff could there be? It was good enough that they could get their hands on some furniture. Fong Ping and the others had just left the guest hall when the door closed with a bang. The few of them stopped in their tracks, their bodies stiff. Fong Ping did not say a word. He turned around and bowed in the direction of the palace, saying loudly, "I'm using these to increase the strength of humans. Senior, please forgive me. I don't mean to be greedy." Beside him, Old Wang's body stiffened for a moment. He recovered quickly and said lightly, "All right, it's not that someone is here. Without the support of your token's aura, they left the palace and sealed the door." Fong Ping breathed a sigh of relief. He could not help but say, "You scared me." Ironhead, don't do this kind of thing next time. You don't even let the soil go. Li Hansong was speechless. I'm learning from you, okay? The few of them said no more and quickly walked toward the Thousand Beast Palace. Since they were already here, of course, they had to sweep the palaces one by one. They would take whatever they could. Wouldn't it be a waste to leave it here? At the same time, just as Fong Ping and the others entered the Thousand Beast Palace, the Forbidden Catacombs, the war had officially broken out. Hundreds of high-ranked powerhouses were fighting in the air. In the distance, tens of thousands of Wuhan soldiers had also formed a military formation. Under the leadership of more than 10 vitality fusion powerhouses, they were fighting the enemy. This time, it was a battle to exterminate the catacombs. It was not only a battle between high-ranked powerhouses. Middle and low-ranked powerhouses would also participate. They would fight until one side was completely powerless and had to retreat from the 18 southern regions. The Rank 9 battle zone. Old Man Li roared madly. I'm not a Rank 9, Motherf Asterisk Kerr. You really think too highly of me. Come on, don't force me. Old Man Li was going crazy. For this war, Sino Nation had sent out 16 Rank 9 powerhouses. Xie Yifan had not arrived, but the old Taoist who guarded the Mount Imperial Sea passageway had escaped. He was also a Rank 9 powerhouse, a Rank 9 that almost no one in the outside world knew about. 16 Rank 9s. More than half of them were Rank 9 powerhouses. Nan Yunyue, Zhang Weiyu, Wu Chuan, Zhao Xingwu, Wang Yu, Li Daong. These people were as strong as Nan Yunyue. Although she could not kill the enemy, even if she fought 1 against 3, she could still hold on. Zhang Weiyu and the others could take on 2 opponents at the same time. Of course, if there were too many Rank 9s, they could forget about killing them. Rank 9 against Rank 9. Suppressing the other party was fine, but killing them was not an easy task. Previously, when Wu Quishan and Old Man Li teamed up to fight Sky Gate Tree, it took a long time. Sino Nation had 16 Rank 9 powerhouses participating in the war, but the catacombs had more. This time, 8 people came from the Forbidden Area alone. 8 Rank 9. The Forbidden Catacombs originally had 12 cities and 24 Rank 9s. 32 Rank 9s. It was more than expected. Among the 8 Rank 9s from the Forbidden Area, 1 was to protect Ji Yao. He did not join the others' battle circle, always following behind Ji Yao. As for the other 7, 5 of them were generals under King Huai's command. The other 2 were from the Monster Plant's King Court. This time, King Huai had also turned out in full force. He did not have many generals under his command. Previously, he wanted to subdue the Sky Gate City Lord, but he did not expect that he would die before Sky Gate City Lord entered the Forbidden Area. There were only 6 divine generals under King Huai's command now. Divine generals were different from the city lords of other territories. Divine generals were equivalent to their private soldiers. Although the city lords of other territories were technically under the true king's command, in reality, these city lords all had very complicated backgrounds. In this war, other than leaving 1 person to guard his king's territory in the Forbidden Area, King Huai sent all the remaining 5 divine generals. 32 Rank 9s. Other than the one behind Ji Yao, who did not participate in the war, 31 had participated. Rank 9 powerhouses like Nan Yunyue, 6 of them ranked in the top 11, had held up 14 Rank 9 powerhouses. The remaining 10 could not fight 1 against 2. Most of them were one-on-one. However, like Magic City Old Fan, Rank 15th among the Rank 9. Chen Haodong, the family head of the Chen family, Xin Mingwei, the family head of the Xin family, Beigong Yin, the commander of the Wuhan army, Zhong Qinghuan. These few people all had Rank 9 divine weapons. They were also the few powerhouses who had Rank 9 divine weapons. They managed to hold up 13 people with 10 of them. Guosheng Chuan's 3 resurrected martial artists were still quite powerful. Old Wang and the rest felt that the Rank 8 powerhouses were weak, but that was built on the basis of comparing themselves. However, how could 3 powerhouses who had comprehended the origin of Dao be too weak? With the 3 of them working together, they had also held up a Rank 9. As for the remaining 3 Rank 9 powerhouses, according to the original plan, Li Chongqing would hold up one of them, and the remaining two would be handled by some rank 8 powerhouses. Everyone was waiting for Nan Yunyue to break through and kill some powerhouses. Who knew? Something that no one could have predicted would happen. As soon as Li Chongqing showed up, 3 rank 9s went to kill him. At this time, Old Man Li flew into a rage, roaring madly, "Don't force me. Longevity sword, you will definitely die today." The 3 rank 9s who went against him were all from the same side, the divine generals under King Huai. The moment Li Chongqing showed up, King Huai recognized him. The MCMU powerhouse who killed the Sky Gate tree. King Huai hated MCMU to the core. MCMU Fong Ping had ruined his plans twice. Now that he saw Li Chongqing participating in the battle, and others did not know, he knew that the other party had a trump card that could kill a rank 9, and it was even the Netherworld King's void-piercing sword technique. When the battle started, he sent a voice transmission to the 3 divine generals that they must kill him. If this person did not die, he would also be a disaster. He actually took the land of rebirth, the path of an ancient martial artist, and one of the most unique paths. In this aspect, King Huai knew even more than the human paragon. If this kind of person died, then so be it. But if he did not die, he would become a disaster sooner or later. 3 rank 9s besieging a martial artist whose true realm was still rank 8. If it were an ordinary person, he would have been beaten to death long ago. 3 rank 8s besieging a rank 9 was more like it. Now, the tables were turned. Faced with such a lineup, even Wu Chuan would be beaten. However, Old Man Li did not fight head-on. A few times he was injured, he swallowed a mouthful of life essence and continued to run. Behind him, a few human rank 8 powerhouses wanted to help, but the 3 rank 9s ignored them completely. King Huai said that regardless of the other martial artists in the land of rebirth, they must kill Li Chongqing. The 3 of them besieged Li Chongqing, but he ran out of the encirclement a few times. In the end, one of the divine generals could not stand it anymore and shouted, "Divine General Hu Lei, this person is from MCMAU. Teacher Fong Ping, join forces and kill him." Li Chongqing was about to cry. Just as this rank 9 shouted, the 2 divine generals from the Monster Plant's royal court suddenly shouted, "He is Fong Ping's teacher?" "That's right. Damn it. Fong Ping killed my descendant in the land of rebirth. He deserves to die. He deserves to die." From afar, Jiao also shouted, "Uncle Hu Lei, kill him." 2 divine generals from the Monster Plant's royal court and this divine general from the Monster Life royal court. All of a sudden, the 3 of them looked at Old Man Li. Old Man Li's eyes were green. 6. Fighting Nan Yunyue now did not even require 6 rank 9s. They thought too highly of him. Old Man Li was about to collapse. Fong Ping, that little bastard, told them before he left not to mention his name. He did not, but now he was done for. On the other side, Guo Shengquan and the other 2 did not say a word. At this time, the 3 of them had no intention of saying that they were also from MCMAU. It was not just them. In the rank 7 area far away, Tang Feng and Lu Fengru were also fighting in silence, not even blinking. Lu Fengru was also very sad. These people had directly ignored her, Fong Ping's real teacher. They had their eyes on Li Chongqing. They could not blame them for targeting Li Chongqing. Who asked Li Chongqing to be so ostentatious, a rank 8 killing a rank 9? But now with Fong Ping, he was in trouble. 6 rank 9s. Even if Old Man Fan and the rest were holding back the 2 Monster Plant's royal court god generals, both of them were also bristling with anger. One of them roared, "Everyone hold him back. We'll go kill Li Chongqing first. I owe you guys a favor." Old Man Fan and the rest were also very helpless. Tian Mu was also speechless. They had 10 people against 13 rank 9s. If the other party really ran away, it would be difficult for them to break through the other party's defense line in a short time. But if that happened, Li Chongqing would really be in trouble. 1 against 6, and it was still a rank 8 against a rank 9. Old Man Li was already about to collapse. He roared and fled frantically. He wanted to run. He had no choice but to run. It was too scary. 6 rank 9s wanted to kill him. Behind him, Ji Yao shouted, "Uncle Hule, kill him!" "Your Highness, Uncle Hule, no one below God General can kill me. Quickly go and kill him." Hule glanced at the other human rank 9s who were being held back. After thinking for a while, he still chased after them into the distance. On the other side, 2 God Generals had also extricated themselves from the battle, chasing after the escaping Old Man Li together. Old Man Li flew madly with a muffled cry. His face was really purple now. He didn't expect that things would turn out like this. He thought that even if King Huai knew about him, he would at most send 1 or 2 rank 9s to kill him. In the end, King Huai paid more attention to him than he expected. 3 came. This was not enough because Fong Ping lured him 3 more. 6 rank 9s. Was it enough to kill the current Nan Yunyue? Maybe not, because among these 6, there were probably only 3 who had comprehended the origin path. The other 3 belonged to the weak rank 9s. But 6 people was enough to fight against Nan Yunyue. On Nan Yunyue's side, almost all of them were powerhouses who had comprehended the origin path. Although these 6 people were not as strong as Nan Yunyue and the rest, Old Man Li still broke down. He broke down so much that he wanted to curse out loud. Did old Zhang know that this would happen? That was why he specially made a life-saving talisman for himself. But King said it in advance. If you said 6 rank 9s, I might not come in. If I was caught, what else could I do other than die? Old Man Li brought the 6 rank 9s and escaped like lightning. On the battlefield, the pressure on the others was greatly reduced. No one expected such a change to happen. A guy who did not plan to let him participate in the battle could actually lure 6 rank 9s away. How unexpected! Nan Yunyue and the rest looked at each other, eager to make a move. If they broke through in time and killed some rank 9s, Li Chongqing would bring them further away. They could not return in time to help, and the situation between rank 9s might change drastically. MCMU guys are really something. A few people's eyes were teasing, but their hearts were solemn. Li Chongqing was probably in trouble this time. Wu Chuan wanted to rescue him a few times, but in the end, he gritted his teeth and did not leave. He wanted to wait for Nan Yunyue to break through and kill some people instantly. Then, he would cooperate with the others to kill these rank 9 powerhouses. He could not leave now. If he left, then there would be 1 less powerful combat strength. As for Li Chongqing, Wu Chuan was also very helpless. Who would have thought that it would be like this? Everyone was already very surprised when he dragged 3 people away. Now 6 they really thought too highly of him. Mount Imperial Sea. Although Zhang Tao's expression did not change, he felt extremely helpless in his heart. Fong Ping was not here, and now Li Chongqing had provoked 3 rank 9s? If he was here, that kid might lure more rank 9s away. But now it was really troublesome. Li Chongqing's speed was not slow, but 6 rank 9s were chasing after him. If this went on, perhaps it would not be long before he would fall here. Li Chongqing died here. Fong Ping sighed. Zhang Tao really did not know what to say. He did not even plan to let Li Chongqing participate in the battle. Who knew that this would be the result? I can only hope that Nan Yunyue breaks through quickly and kills the opponent, so that those people can return in time to help. Otherwise, when the life essence is exhausted, Li Chongqing will be finished even without the pursuit. At this time, Old Man Li was already using life essence to recover, vitality outburst, and quickly escaped. Please remember this book's original domain name. 9 Heavens Divine Emperor Mobile Version website. Chapter 667. Xuandegrado. Fong Ping naturally knew nothing about the Forbidden Catacombs. In the Palace of Beasts, Fong Ping used the token to open the door again. When he entered the Palace of Beasts, Fong Ping's expression changed slightly. So did the others. Demons can't be trusted. Traitor. Just like before, there were remnants of voices in the hall. It was not just voices. Fong Ping found traces of a great battle here. Inside the Palace of Beasts, there were bloodstains. Even after thousands of years, these bloodstains did not disappear. The incomparably huge palace was completely different from the caves of the demon race. This place was extremely magnificent and seemed even more luxurious than the guest palace. Fong Ping looked at the roof subconsciously. There were also beams made of monster plants' torsos. Fong Ping looked for a while and suddenly said, "Say, do you think that the monster plants and the monster plants royal court are against us because these ancestors killed too many monster plants? Mounts should be monsters, right? No one would ride a tree around, right? Is it because our ancestors killed them too badly, so now they're taking revenge on us?" Everyone was speechless. "How would they know if you asked us?" Fong Ping continued. "They said that the demons are traitors. I saw that senior's record when I was in the Imperial Battleground. The people in the restricted area seem to be able to make their mounts fall into chaos. Is the same thing happening here?" "It should be." Wang Jinyang looked around. The Palace of Beasts was still very luxurious. There were no chairs or anything like that. Monsters did not need them. However, the hall was very, very big. Like the guest palace, there were no remains. But here, there were many energy stones. Many energy stones. The ground was almost completely covered with energy stones. It was very messy. Fong Ping swept his gaze across. Just the energy stones scattered on the ground alone were at least a few thousand caddies. This is used to feed monsters? Otherwise, there wouldn't be so many energy stones lying around without anyone asking about them. Back then, monsters were actually fed with high-ranked energy stones. Fong Ping once again called it extravagant. These energy stones had not been depleted by the passage of time. The hall was closed, but the energy did not dissipate. Even if it was not closed, the energy outside was rich. Fong Ping guessed that this place might have the effect of automatically gathering energy. Otherwise, it would not be able to produce energy like rain. There was no need to say anything. A few thousand kilograms of energy stones, at least 1 or 2 tons, would be worth nearly 1 trillion. And these were the ones that were left behind after the Great Battle. The people of the Domain Zone were really extravagant. Just how many energy mines had they dug back then? Under the seal, was there in or vein? Fong Ping seriously suspected that there was an energy mine beneath the bounded boundary. Through the seal, energy seeped in and gathered here. Otherwise, there would not be so much energy. The old ancestors were really good. Back then, they used energy stones as stones. No wonder there were so many experts. If there were such conditions in the neo-martial arts era, wouldn't the number of powerhouses explode? How could modern martial artists have such conditions? Fong Ping felt that he was extremely shabby here. Would I be willing to use an 8th or 9th grade demon plant's trunk to make a table, chair, and bench? Making beams? Would I be willing to feed the monster with high-grade energy stones? What's more, it was a few thousand kilograms. The last time the Jiao asked him for the imperishable substance, he almost felt like his heart was bleeding. So rich. He did not delay his work. Very soon, all the energy stones on the ground were swept clean. This time, the harvest was actually not small. Including the soil that Li Hansong dug, there were 5 large boxes of soil for large bottles of energy fluid. In addition, there were some chairs and tables made from a rank 8 demon plant's trunk and a few thousand kilograms of high-grade energy stones. However, these did not help Fong Ping much. At most, they could only increase his wealth. What he lacked now was not wealth. The Hall of Beasts definitely doesn't have any cultivation methods. Fong Ping swept his gaze around. Suddenly, his eyes moved slightly. There seemed to be something on the ground. Walking over to take a look, Fong Ping picked up a crystal ring on the ground. It was very, very light, so light that Fong Ping thought it was not a real object. Beside him, Yao Qingjun also walked over. He took a look and frowned. "This looks like a divine weapon." "Divine weapon?" "No, it should be a divine weapon similar to my soul-splitting spear." "Fong Ping, it seems to be a divine weapon related to mentality." Fong Ping tried to use his mentality to control it, but the crystal ring did not move. Yao Qingjun tried it too. In the end, the crystal ring began to change shape. Fong Ping's face turned green. "It's yours again?" Yao Qingjun was silent for a while, then said slowly, "Yes." "Who are you trying to fool?" Fong Ping cursed. If this was yours, he would jump into the forbidden sea. Old Yao had been corrupted. This guy actually wanted to keep this crystal ring for himself. Could he not hesitate when lying? Be more direct next time. Yao Qingjun looked embarrassed, but he still coughed softly. Even if it's not mine, it should be related to me. Beside him, Li Hansong continued, Old Yao, don't tell me you're a craftsman who specializes in forging weapons? You didn't say you were familiar with this crystal ring. Maybe it was made by your disciples and disciples. Your whole family does this kind of thing. As he said that, Li Hansong touched his chin and said, Which ancient immortal specialized in forging weapons? Everyone ignored him. Wang Jinyang asked, What's the use of this ring? It seems like Yao Qingjun judged for a while, pondered for a moment, then said, It seems to be used to imprison mentality. I'm not too sure. Do you want to try? As he said that, he looked at Fong Ping. Fong Ping's expression was dark. He said coldly, Once we're here, listen to me. Go and try Iron Head. Li Hansong felt slightly innocent. Me again? Yao Qingjun was straightforward. Iron Head was made of iron. Skull honing had a certain defensive effect against mentality attacks. It was still reliable to use him as an experiment. Under Yao Qingjun's control, the crystal ring slowly fell toward Iron Head. As soon as it fell, Li Hansong's mentality fluctuated. Very quickly, the crystal ring fell to the ground. Li Hansong said innocently, I didn't move. I really didn't move. I'm letting you guys experiment. Yao Qingjun ignored him. He looked at the basilica again and said slowly, Is it only effective on monsters? How did the ancients tame monsters? When we tame monsters, we have to constantly intimidate and suppress them. Even so, monsters can defect at any time. Since the ancients dared to use monsters as mounts, I think there must be a way to restrain them. I found this here. Maybe it's specially used to restrain monsters. An imprisoned weapon forged by mentality can imprison monsters' mentality, forcing them to obey. The possibility is very high. Fong Ping agreed with this judgment, but he was a little depressed. How can you use it? Why can't I use it? It did not make sense. It was all mentality. Could it be that there was an incantation or something? It could not be. Moreover, the four of them were all in the period of aura conversion. They were all using the Green Bull sect leader's aura. Fong Ping was afraid that if he changed his aura, he would be rejected by the bounded zone. The aura was the same. It did not make sense that old Yao could use it, but he could not. When martial artists cultivated martial arts, there was actually no such thing as an incantation. Just like a divine weapon, whoever got it could use it. Even if old Yao's long spear was in his hands, although he might not be able to unleash its full strength, he could still use it. Yao Qingjun said casually, It has to do with one's character. This thing works sometimes and sometimes not. It's probably because it's been too long. It needs to be nurtured for a period of time. Besides, it might not be of much use. Back then, the monsters defected chaos. I suspect that something might have gone wrong with these things, causing the powerhouse's mounts to run away during the war. Put it away first. No matter what, back then, the people in the restricted zone could target this thing and destroy it. Now, it might not be possible. After all, after the war in the Imperial battleground, the restricted zone seemed to have broken off. Fong Ping put away the crystal hoop and said, If it can really imprison the monsters, then it'll be of great use. I don't know if old Zhang can make some. At a critical time, during the war, if we use this on the monsters, even if we can't control them, we can still make the monsters fall into a short period of chaos. I just don't know what rank it'll be effective on. You'll know when you go back and try it. Yao Qingjun said without sincerity, Try it on rank 7, rank 8, and rank 9. Fong Ping glanced at him. Treacherous villain, trying to frame me on purpose. If I want to try rank 8 and rank 9 and didn't succeed, wouldn't I be beaten to death by the monsters? Shameless. He did not expect old Yao to be this kind of person. Previously, he even wanted to take this crystal hoop for himself. Ignoring him, Fong Ping said quickly, Look for what should be looked for. Take whatever can be taken. All right, Ironhead, go take a look at the hall doors. I think the hall doors might not be one with the building. See if we can take them down. Okay. Li Hansong was straightforward. The hall doors here were very strong. A great war must have happened here in the past, but these hall doors were still intact. It might be comparable to the material of a divine weapon. If it was really melted, perhaps it could also be forged into a divine weapon. Modern divine weapons were different from the ancient martial era. Back then, it seemed like demons' heart and brain cores were not needed. The door might be made of the same material as the ancient divine weapon. Li Hansong went to pry open the door. Fong Ping, on the other hand, continued to stroll around, stepping on the ground from time to time. The ground seemed to be made of high-grade materials, too. He checked if there were any damaged areas and tried to dig it away. However, after looking around, he did not find any damage. This time, Fong Ping was a little disappointed. The owner of the Xuan de Grotto was really not a good person. You said that your heavenly palace protected it well, then forget it. You also made these small places down there like this. Don't you have any shame? Don't you know that the future generations have a hard time? Humans are going to die soon. Now we're all fighting with our bare hands. Can't you just separate these buildings? At least we can forge some weapons for everyone. With so many alloy pillars, we can forge tens of thousands of A-class alloy-grade weapons. Fong Ping muttered a few words. Tens of thousands might be more than that. A-class alloy was also very valuable, okay? Among the Sino Nation martial artists, less than one-third of the middle-ranked ones used A-class alloy weapons. It was very miserable. The rest of the alloy had to be used to build alloy houses to cover the catacombs entrance. Humans are so miserable. This is also a disaster left behind by the ancestors. Now, the future generations have to bear it. Sigh. Wang Jinyang and the others looked at him in surprise. Why'd he tell them all this? Fong Ping saw them looking at him, shrugged and said, there might be the ancestors' origins here. Maybe they can hear and understand, right? As he said that, Fong Ping said loudly, Senior, if they can hear us, remove the main hall's restriction. I'll bring it back to improve the human strength. The three of them were mentally exhausted. You're good. You even want to fool the dead. Li Hansong saw him shouting, thought for a while, and said, maybe we were comrades in arms back then. Now that we've returned and are fighting the catacombs again, why don't we remove the restriction? Old Yao and Old Wang were dumbfounded. These two idiots, you're almost done? After shouting for a while, Fong Ping said helplessly, all right, there's no movement. Let's go to another place. There's still a palace behind. It's best if we can find a place for training or a library or something like that. If that doesn't work, we can forge weapons or alchemy rooms or something like that. These places are more reliable. These two places were used to receive guests and demons. Moreover, they were in the outermost area. What good stuff could there be? The few of them did not linger. After exiting the palace, the main door of the palace slammed shut once again. Li Hansong had been pulling for a long time, but still could not pull it out. Following the main road, they continued walking toward the back. On both sides of the road, there were not all buildings. Fong Ping saw that there seemed to be rice fields or herb fields. Anyway, they were squarish and looked like fields. Without saying a word, they continued digging. Needless to say, the soil in this place seemed to have an abundance of energy. After digging a few more boxes, Fong Ping's boxes were all used up. Fong Ping was rather disappointed. There were no treasures growing in this place. Logically, with such rich energy, there should be some grass growing, right? But there were none. This place had been sealed off for so many years. If there were any treasures or the like, the effect would definitely be good. The few of them walked on, plucking as many feathers as they could. Fong Ping also obtained a lot of energy liquids along the way. This time, he had gained a lot of energy liquids and energy soil. As for the other things, he did not gain much. The bounded domain was very big, spanning thousands of miles. Its width was not short either. Fong Ping and the others walked for thousands of meters and still could not see the end. At the end, the opposite side should be the Trichine catacombs. Walking and digging, very soon, Fong Ping saw the dilapidated building that he saw earlier. Unlike the Myriad Beast Palace, this building was really destroyed. It seemed like it was directly cut by someone with a sharp weapon. The foundation was still there, but the roof was gone. The walls were also shorter by half. The few of them standing outside could see everything inside clearly. When they saw the situation clearly, Fong Ping and Li Hansong's eyes moved slightly. The load-bearing pillars inside had been cut off. Moreover, the upper halves of a few of the broken load-bearing pillars had fallen into the building. Needless to say, the few of them had originally planned to go in to see if there was anything useful. Seeing this scene, how could they let it go? Stepping into the ruined palace, Fong Ping did not say a word and kept the upper halves of the broken load-bearing pillars. These are all good stuff. A few broken load-bearing pillars weighed more than 10,000 caddies, and that was an understatement. Other than the load-bearing pillars, Fong Ping actually wanted to find the beam. According to the nature of this place, it was probably the torso of a rank 9 monster plant. In the end, after searching for a long time, he still could not find it. He did not know if it had been taken away by someone. Without the protection of the main hall, some of the things in the building had also completely decayed. The main hall here had been cut in half at the waist. Even the signboard was gone. However, judging from the remnants of the ruins, Fong Ping could still determine where this place was. It seems like the cafeteria? Fong Ping hesitated for a while, but still said this conclusion. Everyone nodded slightly. It seemed like the cafeteria. There was no other reason. If the layout of this place was restored, it was similar to a cafeteria. In the bounded domain, not everyone was a powerhouse. It was also possible for ordinary people to survive. Ordinary people naturally ate, drank, and defecated. Fortunately, it's not a very important building. Continue searching. After we're done, let's go to the Sky Palace. Fong Ping raised his head and looked at the floating Sky Palace. This thing had to be left for last. He even suspected that some of the important areas were on the Sky Palace. Even if there was some good stuff here, it would probably be limited. Also, he had to speed up. Helping himself and the three of them to change their auras consumed 10,000 wealth points every minute. It had been almost 2 hours since they came in. He had spent 2 million wealth points. Fong Ping did not dare to stop, worried that this side would reject him. I've spent 12 billion, but fortunately, it's only 40 caddies of rank 9 energy stones. It's not a loss. This time, he had earned a lot. It was impossible for him to make a loss. It was just that he could not find any cultivation methods. Fong Ping was a little worried that there were none here. After another few minutes, what appeared in front of everyone was no longer a palace, but a 3-story building. Seeing this building, Fong Ping did not need Old Wang to translate. His eyes moved slightly. Library. Old Wang? Is that what you mean? Wang Jinyang nodded slightly. Almost. We've finally found the place. Let's go. Fong Ping was overjoyed. Although everyone had said that the mentality cultivation method might be the legacy of the origin, who could be sure? Maybe it was just that the others had not realized that the crystal book could also be passed down. In front of the door of the building, Fong Ping took out the token and released his aura. However, this time, the hall door kept trembling and did not open for a long time. Li Hansong said with a solemn expression, I have a bad feeling about this. It was not just him. Everyone had a bad feeling. It was very difficult to open the door. Moreover, the library had a total of 3 floors. Would it count as 1 floor? Or would there be no restrictions after entering through the main door? It was already so difficult to open the main door now. If they really had to enter level by level, what would they do next? It seemed like Fong Ping could not open it alone. Li Hansong and the other 2 did not say much and began to release their auras together. After a while, the hall door slowly opened. The moment the hall door opened, the situation inside came into view. On one side of the hall door, there was a table. Behind the table was a chair that looked like a rocking chair. A crystal book was placed on the table. When Fong Ping and the rest saw this scene, an image suddenly flashed in their minds. Once upon a time, there was an old man with white hair and a beard sitting on the rocking chair, holding a crystal book in his hand. He read while waiting for the disciples to enter and leave. Now, the table was still there, the crystal book was still there, the rocking chair was still there, but the person was not. The first floor was not a library, but rows of tables and chairs. Perhaps there was a group of people who read and studied here every day. When they encountered something they did not understand, they might even ask the old man at the door. Li Hansong mumbled, "There might be children here too. The first floor might even be a school." When the war broke out that year, Fong Ping, do you think that group of children died too? The bounded domain was a self-contained world. Were there no children here? There must be. When the war broke out, where were the children? Were they sent away in advance, or were they already dead? Fong Ping said softly, "Thousands of years have passed. Let's not talk about this anymore. Now, humans are surrounded by danger. If we still can't get the mentality cultivation method this time, children, there are countless children among humans. After a few years, they might be homeless, dying in battle, dying in the war, dying on the run." Fong Ping's expression returned to normal. These tables were not considered good stuff. It seemed like the bounded domain was not so rich that every item was made from the body of a monster plant. On the right side of the hall, there was a staircase that led to the second floor. Fong Ping was not in a hurry to go upstairs. Instead, he kept the table and chair at the door into his storage space. This was good stuff. After all, there should have been powerhouses guarding this place back then. As for the crystal book, Fong Ping threw it to Old Wang. Old Wang glanced at it and said, "It seems to be gossip news too." Fong Ping was helpless. Could these seniors not be so embarrassing? Were they so free? Why didn't they read some cultivation methods and secret manuals? They read gossip every day. Good job. Upstairs, the few of them began to walk up the stairs. There was no door on the second floor. Standing at the entrance of the staircase, Fong Ping could even see the corner of some bookshelves. However, when Fong Ping was about to take a step in, he was bounced back. "Damn it," Fong Ping cursed. Mentality barrier. I guess there would be this. There really is a mentality barrier in a desperate situation. What should I do? Only in a desperate situation could one solidify their mentality and not be extinguished for tens of millions of years. The token. It might not work. Try it. We're already at the door. If we can't get in, I'll go crazy. The few of them looked anxious. It did not matter if it was a normal cultivation method, but a mentality cultivation method, a myriad Dao integration cultivation method, or a separate golden body cultivation method was also possible. Walking the path of the flesh, the path of mentality, the path of myriad Dao integration. Ancient martial artists had developed many, many years more than modern martial artists. Even if modern martial artists did not cultivate, the reference value was incomparably huge. Fong Ping's vitality and mentality surged. The others did the same. The barriers still did not budge. What's going on? Don't tell me that the senior with this token, a ranked 9, can't even enter an underground library? Fong Ping was very doubtful. This was only a library on the ground. It was not in the heavenly palace. It could not be that even a rank 9 could not enter, right? Maybe our aura is not pure, Wang Jinyang said in a low voice. What you imitated was only the Green Bull sect leader's aura. According to our speculation, the other party might just be an outer sect disciple that skipped a generation. The bounded zone is the core boundary. An outer sect disciple, one that skipped a generation, can enter as he pleases. As for the guest palace and myriad beast palace, they were open to the public. Entering should not be a problem. However, the library would obviously not be open to the public. What should we do? Fong Ping was a little helpless. Very quickly, he gritted his teeth and said, "Attack." The person who set up the barrier is probably long dead. Although the absolute peak is strong, after thousands of years, it's like a duckweed without roots. The barrier may not be as strong as we think. If we work together, we might be able to open it. But once this place is sealed and counterattacked, it won't happen. When I crashed into it just now, there was no sealing and counterattacking force. This should not be related to the entire bounded zone. The layout of the bounded zone is also not set up by this absolute peak. Fong Ping explained and looked at everyone. They nodded. Li Hansong's armor appeared again. He opened his mouth and said, "We're already here. The cultivation method is right in front of us. We must go in." Fong Ping is right. If we attack forcefully, we might be able to break the barrier. Let's do it then. The few of them did not waste any time. They attacked the invisible barrier together. The barrier trembled slightly. This barrier did not have the power to counterattack. Now, the few of them were relieved. They began to attack the barrier continuously. Although the absolute peak was strong, after all, so many years had passed. The absolute peak who set up this barrier back then might not have gone all out. After all, this was only a library on the ground. Again and again, the barrier gradually began to tremble. The few of them were overjoyed. It was effective. After another 7 to 8 minutes, in the void, there seemed to be a sound of glass shattering. At this time, Fong Ping's expression changed. He rushed in quickly. He did not even have time to check. He stored everything he saw into the storage space. In the bounded zone, there seemed to be a powerful force erupting and reviving. Fong Ping, Wang Jinyang, and the rest's expressions changed again and again. Was there really the existence of a force similar to the Tian'an bounded zone here? Fong Ping did not speak. He pressed his hands together and did not move. The few of them attacking the barrier earlier might have attracted the attention of this origin. Fong Ping tried to restrain their aura. The bounded zone did not reject them. That powerful force, he did not know if it had discovered them or if it did not care. Very soon, the invisible pressure dissipated. Fong Ping did not dare to breathe. He could not guarantee that this pressure would not kill them. Although he really wanted to try and see if he could obtain the cultivation method legacy, it was better to gamble with one's life as little as possible. The few of them did not speak. They looked at each other and asked what they should do next. Just now, Fong Ping rushed in and took away a lot of things. However, not all of them were crystal books. Wang Jinyang and the rest took a look. There did not seem to be many crystal books. The rest were some animal skin books. There seemed to be a lot of animal skin books. There was no time to check if they were what they needed. After a while, Fong Ping signaled that they could speak. Wang Jinyang said softly, "Are we still going to the third floor? I'm afraid the third floor is more difficult." Also, above the heavenly palace, Fong Ping hesitated for a moment. He gritted his teeth and said, "Go." Although I did not read the books on the second floor, there is a high probability that there are no cultivation methods that we need. I suspect that this kind of cultivation method will definitely be in the Heavenly Palace. Also, we have to go to the Heavenly Palace to take a look. I've restrained my aura. Everyone, don't talk later. I realized that after restraining my aura, other than not being able to use the token, this place doesn't seem to reject us. After saying that, Fong Ping did not waste any time. He quickly walked toward the stairs to the third floor. The third floor also had a barrier. It was probably set up by the same person as the second floor. It was not much stronger. The few of them attacked again and again. Midway, that powerful pressure erupted again. The few of them were trembling with fear. When the pressure erupted, they started pretending to be dead. When the pressure dissipated, they attacked again. The movement was much smaller this time. Although they did not say anything, the few of them also felt that this pressure might really not belong to a living person. It lacked the intelligence that a living person should have. At this moment, Fong Ping's heart was filled with endless doubts. What is this pressure? Is it a powerhouse's origin? Or is it a defense mechanism? With endless doubts, Fong Ping still blasted the barrier open. There were much fewer things on the third floor. In such a big place, there were not bookshelves but crystal tables. No, energy crystal tables. There were a total of 6 tables. On each table was a crystal book. Fong Ping quickly kept the crystal book. He did not look at it in detail. He led the few of them out of the library hurriedly. As soon as he went out, Fong Ping looked up at the sky. He wanted to enter the heavenly palace. Li Hansong and the other 2 looked at him. Their expressions were slightly solemn. Entering the heavenly palace at this time might not be a good thing. Fong Ping's brows furrowed. Go to the heavenly palace? Maybe if he went, it would be a dead end. After thinking about it, many crystal books appeared in Fong Ping's hand. He tossed them to Old Wang. Old Wang scanned through them one by one. His expression was sometimes solemn, sometimes happy. In the end, he shook his head at Fong Ping. There was no mentality cultivation method. Damn it! Fong Ping cursed in his heart. Without hesitation, he tossed the token to Old Wang and motioned for them to go first. The few of them did not say anything. Since they came together, they would just have to try it together. Fong Ping glanced at them. No one paid attention to him. Idiot! Fong Ping cursed in his heart. Without any hesitation, the next moment he soared into the sky and flew toward the heavenly palace. During the flight, he did not forget to throw stones to test the waters. As it turned out, this was definitely a wise choice. The stones disappeared into thin air. Some of the black cracks flashed. The heavenly palace could not be entered directly. Fong Ping tried along the way and found that there was only one direction without space cracks. And this direction was the direction directly facing the gatehouse. Only this direction seemed to be the real entrance to the heavenly palace. Genius in a second. Remember this site's address. Mobile version. Chapter 668. The void trembled. When Fong Ping and the others flew toward the sky palace, a powerful pressure emanated. Fong Ping's figure stagnated, almost falling from midair. Behind, Old Yao and the others hurriedly followed. The four of them unleashed their mentality, joining forces to resist this powerful pressure. Fong Ping's ears and nose bled. He looked up at the sky, his face full of unwillingness. Who are you waiting for? Must we wait for your successor? Humans are going to perish. Fong Ping screamed in his heart. He did not know if he should hate the bounded zone, the blessed grotto heaven. That group of people known as immortals died in the catacombs, but left a legacy for humans. The situation seemed to have improved a lot, but the catacombs' passageways were about to be fully opened. The Monster Plant's royal court and the Monster Life royal court were about to join forces. The Guardian royal court had long joined the war, and the Myriad Demon royal court's attitude was unclear. Once the four royal courts joined forces, would humans still have a way out? Fong Ping did not want to think too highly of himself. He was not that great, but he really wanted to find a mentality cultivation technique. He wanted to make himself stronger. He wanted to make his teachers stronger. He wanted to make humanity's grandmasters more. He wanted to make humanity's grandmasters more. Perhaps this was the only way to let humans have the strength to fight back. The bounded zone. Since the kings had started the war, and the forbidden zone was also an enemy, why not leave a little hope for humans after they perished? You found us, right? Fong Ping suddenly no longer remained silent, shouting loudly. You found us. You didn't chase us away. Is there still a consciousness? Senior, Fong Ping has no other request, just to see the mentality cultivation method. A mystic virtue martial arts powerhouse. I, Fong Ping, am not wrong. To be able to levitate the sky palace so high, it is obvious that you are also a proud and virtuous person. I, Fong Ping, will not disgrace the cultivation method and inheritance left by the seniors. The enemies who destroyed the mystic virtue realm. When Fong Ping is strong, I will definitely settle the score. Senior, please pity the plight of humans and lend a helping hand. Fong Ping roared for a while, continuing to release the pressure. The entire bounded zone was covered by the pressure. Beside him, Wang Jinyang said in a low voice, "Stop shouting. This pressure should not be from a living thing. It should only be sensed through aura and energy changes. It did not appear before us until we attacked the apex barrier. This means that as long as we don't touch or attack anything here, there shouldn't be a problem." The few of them had already deduced some things. This pressure probably did not possess any intelligence or life force. Perhaps it was just a defense program left behind by the ancient warriors. Last time, when he threw Li Hansong and the others out, it was probably just a kind of aura identification, a simple way to distinguish between friend and foe. When Fong Ping and the others imitated the Green Bull sect master's aura, it did not cause the appearance of pressure. When the pressure appeared, it was also when they attacked the barrier of the summit. At this time, when they arrived at the heavenly palace, it might have caused the pressure to be released again. The defense mechanism of the heavenly palace might have been activated. When Fong Ping heard that, he said impatiently, "You flattered me for nothing. The three of them looked at him, speechlessly. No one asked you to lick them. Cut the crap. Yao Qingjuan's face turned pale as he said, the four of us have joined forces, yet we can feel immense pressure from even the slightest aftershock. And this isn't even directed at us. What the hell was this thing? If there was such a powerful defense mechanism in the past, how could people have invaded the bounded domain? Li Hansong chuckled. When they invaded the bounded domain seemed to have been defeated, yet it was not destroyed. Instead, it sealed itself. This actually proves a lot of things. If the people from the restricted area really attacked, do you think they would let the Heavenly Palace go? Do you think they would allow the bounded domain to seal itself? Therefore, I'm guessing that this pressure actually existed a long time ago, existing along with the bounded domain. Back then, the restricted area might have had a slight advantage, but they were unable to resist this pressure. Most of the powerhouses from the restricted area had also died in battle in the land of grand battles. The people who came were not strong enough and could not resist, so they left. As he said that, Li Hansong continued, they might not have left. I even suspect that the people who invaded this place back then might have all died under this pressure. This is the reason why the bounded domain has been preserved until now. Li Hansong's guess was still somewhat reasonable. At this time, Wang Jinyang suddenly said, since this pressure might have always existed, then the people in the bounded domain back then should have known that this place could defend against the enemy. If they could not resist the enemy, then wouldn't it be normal to retreat to the Heavenly Palace? When we were down there previously, we didn't see any remains, nor did we see any living people. Where did the remains go? There might really be living people in the Heavenly Palace. Their hearts stirred. It might not be impossible. If this pressure had always existed and not only appeared later, then it would be too normal for someone to retreat to the Heavenly Palace back then. After the bounded domain sealed itself, would the enemies still come back? If they did, the Heavenly Palace might have already been destroyed. Since they did not come back, then the people who survived back then might really still be living in the Heavenly Palace. Let's go. It's already come to this. Life and death aside, let's go up and take a look together. After the pressure appeared, the few of them did not leave. They had already come with the mentality of a slim chance of survival. It was not easy to get to this point. Who would be willing to give up now? The four of them's vitality surged and their mentality erupted, joining forces to resist the suppression of the pressure. This pressure pervaded the entire bounded domain. Perhaps it could be felt from the outside, but it was also because it had spread too far and was not targeted. Under the joint efforts of the 4 rank 7 martial artists, they could still resist it with some difficulty. From this, one could feel the strength of the pressure. When a rank 9 powerhouse unleashed their pressure, not to mention spreading so far, even if it was aimed at a rank 9, it would not be able to suppress a rank 7 to death. If it was so easy, Wu Quishan would have been crushed to death at first glance when he met the Sky Gate City Lord back then. If a rank 9 could kill a rank 7 so easily, then the battlefield would not be a high-rank battlefield, but a rank 9 battlefield. Rank 7s and 8s would die with just one pressure. What was the point of fighting? It's definitely comparable to a paragon, maybe even stronger. The few of them had made a comparison. The strength of this pressure would not be weaker than a paragon. That was the minimum. 4 rank 7s joined forces and could only barely resist some of the overflowing pressure. It was too powerful. The few of them flew upward with difficulty. A height of 1,000 meters could usually be covered in the blink of an eye. Right now, they were crawling like a snail. Outside the bounded domain, on the platform, Chen Yaozu and the rest looked solemn too. Following the outburst of the pressure, they also felt the pressure. Of course, after all, they were separated by the boundary wall, so the pressure was not too great. They've been discovered. Will something happen? Second progenitor, they won't die in there, right? Among the few elders, some were deeply worried, some were slightly perturbed. Chen Yaozu stared at the boundary wall. As the energy concentration nearby decreased, although the boundary wall was trembling now, it did not seem like there was any intention of an energy tide eruption. If the energy tide did not erupt, the boundary wall could not see the situation inside. Chen Yaozu looked at the boundary wall for a while. At this moment, this old man could not help but curse in a low voice. These brats, if they didn't thin out the energy, at least we would still have some points. If the energy tide erupted, they could still see some of the situation inside. But now, they could not see at all, and they did not know whether Fong Ping and the rest were dead or alive. Chen Yaozu said, his expression solemn. He looked at the entrance of the plankway and said softly, "We have no way of knowing what's going on with them. We can't enter, and we can't rescue them. Little Seven, get ready. The Maple King's people are coming." Everyone looked solemn. The old woman gritted her teeth and said, "This time, we must kill Feng Jiuqing. Second progenitor, kill him. When the Maple King's people come, we won't have to worry anymore." After absorbing the imperishable substance, the few of them had almost completely recovered from the injuries that they had accumulated for 15 years. At this moment, their combat strength had increased greatly. There were still 7 rank 9s under the Maple King's command. Among them, Feng Jiuqing was the strongest, on par with Chen Yaozu. If Feng Jiuqing was killed, even if the other 6 came together, they would have a huge advantage as long as they guarded the plankway. There were space rifts on both sides of the plankway. If they fought on the narrow plankway, Chen Yaozu and the rest could retreat to the platform. The geographical advantage was maximized here. Chen Yaozu took a deep breath and looked at the old woman. Apart from him, the old woman was the only rank 9. She called him an old woman, but in his eyes, she was still a child. The old woman called him second progenitor because he was the son of the Chun family's elder ancestor. The old woman, on the other hand, was his second brother's granddaughter. It was not a problem for her to call him third grandpa. Chen Yaozu glanced at the old woman and said, "Little Seven, if Feng Jiuqing comes this time, then I'll try my best to make him stay. After killing Feng Jiuqing, the rest is up to you guys. Seize their tokens, and in the future, you can go home." Having said that, Chen Yaozu looked back at the bounded domain, took a deep breath and said, "If they come out, then you guys will escort them out of the Shishan catacombs." Second progenitor. The few of them looked conflicted. Second progenitor. Was he preparing to finish off Feng Jiuqing and the rest in one go? All right, let's wait patiently. Chen Yaozu did not care about what was going on inside. He could not afford to be distracted now. The wait did not last too long. King Feng's people did not hide anything. In reality, it was hard to hide anyway. The rank 9 powerhouse's chi was too strong. Before he arrived, someone laughed at the foot of the mountain. "Chen Yaozu, you're not dead yet? You're tough." "Feng Jiuqing, if you're not dead, how can I die?" "Ha!" Laughter came from the plankway, getting closer and closer. As Feng Jiuqing walked on the plankway, he replied, "Chen Yaozu, you're dead this time. Not just you, but also the other powerhouses from your land of rebirth. You've been holed up here for so many years. I'm afraid you don't know that more than 10 god generals have died in battle in your land of rebirth. As for the rest of the god generals, I'm afraid they're dying soon." 18 southern territories. King Huai led 50 god generals to besiege your remaining god generals. "Ha! Chen Yaozu, are you desperate?" Feng Jiuqing laughed. As he laughed, he said loudly, "After we've annihilated you, we'll go to the 18 southern territories to hunt down the other god generals from the land of rebirth. No, we'll enter the land of rebirth and annihilate all of you. Chen Yaozu, today is the day you die." "Ridiculous," Chen Yaozu snorted. "Do you really think I don't know?" He had already asked a lot of things when he chatted with Fong Ping. In the past, Feng Jiuqing often told him who died in battle and who was annihilated, especially the Yang family's elder ancestors' demise. When Feng Jiuqing told them, they did not believe him. However, Feng Jiuqing even swore in the name of King Feng, proving that the Yang family's elder ancestor had indeed fallen. At that time, Chen Yaozu and the rest were indeed very pessimistic and desperate. But now, according to Fong Ping and the rest, the Yang family's elder ancestor had fallen, but Nan Yunyue was about to reach the peak. Not only that, over in Tianan, they had killed dozens of rank 19s. Magic City Catacombs and Nanjiang Catacombs had also won again and again. Even in the Land of Kings battleground, more than half of the restricted area's younger generation had been killed. Humans were getting stronger and stronger, and Sino Nation was getting stronger and stronger. Especially Fong Ping and the rest of the youngsters. They had all reached rank 7, which also proved everything. Under such circumstances, how could Qin Yaozu be disturbed? Feng Jiuqing wanted to attack him and wear down his willpower, but that was just wishful thinking. Ridiculous? Qin Yaozu, you're really pathetic. Feng Jiuqing laughed heartily. You think I'm lying to you? Is that necessary? My father has already made a deal with King Huai. If you don't die this time, when the 18 Southern Territories battle is over, the god generals under King Huai will come here to annihilate you. At most, we'll share some of the benefits with King Huai. You've been pestering us for 15 years. It's time to end it. Qin Yaozu did not say anything else. They had heard about the battle in the Forbidden City from Fong Ping. However, when Fong Ping said that Sino Nation had the upper hand, Qin Yaozu did not know and did not want to guess. He would rather believe Fong Ping's comforting words than believe Feng Jiuqing and shake his own confidence. In the next moment, the silhouettes of Feng Jiuqing and the rest appeared on the plank road. Qin Yaozu frowned slightly. 4 rank 9s and 3 rank 8s. This time, King Feng had sent so many people. There were only 7 rank 9s under his command. King Feng had a lot of properties under his command. The royal territory needed someone to hold the fort, and the royal court needed a spokesperson. When there was time, the rank 9s were also in charge of guarding missions, such as the King's Battleground, Mount Royal Sea Passageway. 4 rank 9s were here. They had turned out in full force. Qin Yaozu glanced at them and did not say anything. Golden light flickered on his body, and his golden body seemed slightly dim. The others were the same. Feng Jiuqing glanced at them and frowned slightly. It felt like these guys were stronger than last time. Could it be that they went out to recover before they came? Although he had some doubts, Feng Jiuqing did not care. So, what if they went out to recover? These people could not stay for long even if they went out. How could imperishable substances be recovered so easily? Qin Yaozu, stop hiding. Why don't you and I go down the mountain and fight? There's no need to continue this ridiculous game. For the past 15 years, you've never won against me, and this time is no exception. Is that so? Feng Jiuqing laughed loudly. He did not go forward. Standing on the plankway, he threw a punch across the air. Qin Yaozu also threw a palm. Energy collided in the middle of the plankway, and the roar shook the sky. Feng Jiuqing was not in a hurry. He threw punch after punch, laughing loudly. Everyone, let's grind them to death together. He was not prepared to fight recklessly. This was an old trick that had been used for many years. Here, there was no way to recover energy, and there was no way to recover consumption. They came at full strength, slowly depleting the other party's vitality and mentality. These people might have even used up their vitality recovery pills and energy stones, but they had reserves. If these people had not brought a lot of energy stones in the past and recovered a lot after the energy tide erupted a few times, they might have been grinded to death long ago. Even so, Feng Jiuqing felt that this would be the last time. He was not lying. If he still could not take down these people this time, his father had already promised with King Huai that after the war in the 18 southern regions ended, the god generals under his command would come to help. At that time, could these people not die? Feng Jiuqing threw punch after punch. The other 3 rank 9s and 3 rank 8s also did not make a sound, bombarding them across the air. If they blocked, they would have to exhaust them. If they did not block, they would rush out of the plankway and onto the platform. At that time, the geographical advantage would be gone, and the 4 rank 9s would not be afraid of Qin Yaozu and the rest. The old woman glanced at Qin Yaozu. Qin Yaozu did not move, but the aura on his body weakened slightly. Since Feng Jiuqing and the rest wanted to exhaust them to death, then let them do as they wished. On the plankway, Feng Jiuqing bombarded while looking behind Qin Yaozu and the rest with a frown. There was an explosion of force in the bounded domain. Could it be that Qin Yaozu and the rest wanted to go in? Since they could trigger the force, it meant that the bounded domain had already reacted. Could it be that these guys have been sitting here for many years and found a loophole? Damn it. Then, this time they must get rid of these guys. Otherwise, if they were given more time and really let them go in, wouldn't all their years of hard work be in vain? There was a great battle in the Forbidden Catacombs. There was also a great battle outside the Schwanda Grotto Heaven. Battles between rank 9s that were rarely seen erupted everywhere today. In order to not give humans a chance to help, countless rank 9 force erupted in other catacombs. Magic City Catacombs. Last time, it was Wu Chuan, Tianmu, and the rest who sealed the city. This time, it was Monster Sunflower City's City Lord and a few rank 9s who were wandering around Hope City and Skygate City, eyeing and oppressing Wu Quishan. They had no intention of erupting a rank 9 war now, but they could hold back the human rank 9s. This was the consensus of some true kings. If it were not for the fact that the catacombs passageway had not been completely opened, right now, an all-out war would have erupted instead of suppression. Magic City Catacombs was like this, and so were the other catacombs, including the Shishan Catacombs. Usually there were very few battles. Right now, in a city 1,000 miles away, 2 rank 9s came together, cruising outside Shishan City. Grandmaster Fong Yu also looked solemn, standing on top of the city wall, confronting the other party. The situation was so tense that it was suffocating. Inside the Schwanda Grotto Heaven, Fong Ping and the rest withstood the force, moving up bit by bit. The higher they went, the stronger the force. After a while, Fong Ping and the rest were on the same level as the Heavenly Palace. The first thing that came into view was an incomparably tall gatehouse. It was even bigger than the gatehouse below. It's the Southern Sky Gate. Li Hansong sighed. There were indeed 3 big words on this huge gatehouse. Behind the gatehouse was an incomparably huge Imperial Road. The Imperial Road led straight to a dazzling golden hall at the back, like an immortal palace. Schwanda Palace, Old Wong muttered, opening his mouth to say, this can be called the real Schwanda Grotto Heaven. There are only some subsidiary buildings below. The few of them had not even stepped into the gatehouse and Imperial Road, but they could already feel what was called immortality. The gatehouse and Imperial Road were shrouded in clouds and mist, half hidden. This was not clouds and mist, but energy. Behind the Imperial Road, behind the palace, there was golden light rolling, like a golden dragon turning over. Li Hansong and the rest were almost drooling. Last time they saw this too. This was the lake of imperishable matter. They could not imagine how extravagant the Grotto Heaven was back then. Perhaps, in the eyes of ancient martial artists, the lake of imperishable matter was just an ordinary swimming pool or lotus pond. Although the few of them were talking, they were sweating profusely. The pressure was getting heavier. Fong Ping gritted his teeth and said, "Stop chatting. Let's get on the Imperial Road." As soon as he said that, the 4 of them stepped onto the Imperial Road. As soon as they stepped onto the Imperial Road, the pressure on the few of them increased exponentially. Old Wong's legs were trembling, and for a moment, he actually had the urge to kneel. Fong Ping's legs were also trembling. The golden light on his body shone brightly, and he growled, "Give me the cultivation technique, and I'll kneel to the seniors once. If you don't, then don't even think about it." The moment they stepped onto the Imperial Road, the pressure became even more intense. Fong Ping thought that he could take it easy. If he gave them the cultivation technique, it was nothing to kneel to these human seniors once. However, if he did not give them the cultivation technique, he did not think that these seniors were really meritorious to humanity. Why did they not comment on their merits and demerits in the past? Now, they did not have any merits at all. Why should they kneel to them? It was unknown whether Fong Ping's words triggered a reaction, or if it was just like that. But the pressure became even more intense than before. Wang Jinyang let out a low growl. The vitality in his body surged, and he forced himself to straighten his back. Yao Qingjun also unleashed his mentality, standing ramrod straight. Li Hansong, on the other hand, was much more relaxed in his armor. He glanced at the few of them, chuckled, and said, Old Wang is the weakest. Old Yao is the second weakest, and Fong Ping is slightly weaker too. I'm much stronger than all of you, smack. The three of them did not say a word, but each of them slapped him across the face. Mother asterisk her. This bastard still had the mood to pretend to be weak at a time like this. If it was not for your armor, would you really be more relaxed than us? Fong Ping panted and gave him a slap, then looked at Old Wang and said, Old Wang, you're a little weak. You'll have to work harder later. All of you, shut up. Wang Jinyang's face was livid, and his face was flushed red. Yao Qingjun was a middle-stage rank 7 with strong mentality. He was only early-stage rank 7. His mentality was not as strong as Yao Qingjun's, and his physique was not as strong as Li Hansong's. There was no way he could compare to Fong Ping. At this moment, among the four of them, he was the most pressured. Even with his vitality outburst, he could barely stand straight. Fong Ping chuckled and did not say much. He took a deep breath, and the energy around him was instantly absorbed into his stomach. Then, the golden light on his body shone brightly again, and he roared, Go in! If we don't get the cultivation methods this time, we'll tear down the heavenly palace. Bang! As soon as he said that, Fong Ping flew backward, blood spurting from his mouth. Fear flashed across Fong Ping's eyes. Then he said loudly, Sino Nation is going to perish. Are there any living seniors in there? Do we really have to watch humanity perish before our eyes? Cultivation methods. Are cultivation methods that important? Are they more important than the survival of humanity? Are they still testing us at this time? In the neo-martial era, the number of martial artists who died in battle is in the millions. The war has not officially started yet. Once it starts, the number of people who died in battle will be in the hundreds of millions. The seniors are so cruel. Bang! Fong Ping was bombarded by the pressure again, and his golden body began to crack. Seeing that, Li Hansong's body shone brightly, and he roared furiously, Since you're alive, then come out. Sneaking around? Don't you dare to show your face? Is what Fong Ping said wrong? If I can find my own territory, why would I need to beg you guys? If you're really not willing to give us the cultivation methods, then please tell us where my home is. As soon as he finished speaking, Li Hansong shouted, Fong Ping, remove my aura concealment. Iron Head, remove it. At this moment, Li Hansong was extremely determined. He said loudly, I asked them to identify it. Since they're not willing, then they'll have to find it themselves. At most, they'll just die. The ancient martial era has already perished. At this time, they're holding on to the cultivation methods and not passing them down. Are they waiting for humanity to perish and the catacombs martial artists to come in and pass them down? Because of Fong Ping's few words, they were targeted by the pressure one after another. At this time, everyone was no longer like before, feeling that the pressure was uncontrollable. Or rather, the pressure had a consciousness. It could understand what everyone was saying. Seeing that Fong Ping did not remove his aura concealment, Wang Jinyang took a deep breath and shouted, Fong Ping, remove Iron Head's concealment. If Iron Head can't do it, then try it one by one. Fong Ping, what are you hesitating for? Li Hansong shouted, with your indecisive attitude, how are you going to accomplish great things? How are you going to be a good leader? Since there's a chance, then give it a shot. Fong Ping gritted his teeth, glanced at him, and said nothing. In the next moment, Li Hansong's own aura suddenly erupted. At this moment, Li Hansong's vitality erupted to the extreme. He shouted, I'm Li Hansong. I don't know who I was in my past life, but maybe you know me. If you're not willing to pass on your cultivation methods, then let me find my own cultivation method. There was no response. Go in. Seeing that, Li Hansong did not hesitate. He shouted and walked directly toward the palace in the distance. He had unleashed his aura, but the pressure did not target him. He did not care anymore. He would go in first. Maybe the other party had acquiesced. As soon as Li Hansong moved, the other three followed him and walked forward. Fong Ping cursed in his heart. Mother asterisk her, targeting me. Just you wait. If I can't get the cultivation method this time, I'll settle the score with you sooner or later. I'll tear down the grotto heaven and bring it to MCMEU and let you be arrogant. He was now 100% sure that the pressure was either self-aware or controlled by someone. No matter what, it was intelligent. How dare you pretend to have no intelligence earlier? Shameless. A wise man knows better than to fight when the odds are against him. I won't scold you now. When I'm stronger, I'll settle the score with you. Currently, except for a few people who did not retaliate against me, the rest had already retaliated. In the little notebook, there was another score. Schwanda Grotto Heaven's pressure, or the manipulator behind the scenes. Fong Ping thought in his heart. Without delaying his actions, he moved his feet and followed Iron Head forward along the Imperial Path. The Imperial Path was thousands of meters long. The deeper they went, the greater the pressure. As they walked, the first one to fall behind was not Old Wang, but Yao Qingjun. Yao Qingjun could not go on. His whole body was trembling, and his body began to crack. You guys continue. Yao Qingjun didn't continue. He shouted at the others, "This might be a test. I don't think I'm suitable. You guys continue." The few of them did not utter a word. They continued forward against the pressure. 100 meters, 200 meters. The further they went, the stronger the pressure. At this moment, the few of them had an idea. Maybe someone was really testing them, deliberately mystifying. Fong Ping cursed in his heart. But it looked like there was a chance to get the cultivation method this time. I wonder if it's a living person. Absolute peak? If I can trick it out. Fong Ping pondered as he walked. He felt a little helpless. It was not easy to trick someone who was not familiar. You're tuning into the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.